All right, welcome in everybody to the Cafe Cuties Cup Finals. I am Thousand Eyes. I am here alongside BurntSanctuary, and we have a banger best of five to get to. How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I told you the story already, but maybe for the broadcast. I mean, accidental chili con carne. So I had like a moment where I felt really stupid because I kind of just made beans with diced tomatoes and minced meat, and I was like, that needs some spice. Added chili, tasted it. I was like, that tastes familiar, and yeah, I felt really stupid. But hey, I guess that happens to everyone, right?
Absolutely. Before we get started, though, into our draft for today, I do want to talk about our sponsors here. Thank you to RD House Fox, Motivation, and Zari for the prize money that we have. We now have 700 euros total for the prize pool, 500 euros for first place, 150 for second, and 50 for third place.
Yes, and then also thank you and a shout out to Gamify Academy. They are giving away 50 chest codes and 20 for the stream, 30 for players. Well, and then on top of that, obviously also thank you to all the staff, the production, all the casters like me and you, and the
Mhm.
admins who are making this all happen. And I mean, of course, also the players for participating.
Yeah, as for the giveaway for the chests, viewer giveaways are going to be in the stream. They're going to be announced through the GGWP account. If you do win, you have 1 hour to DM Safi on Twitch. That is SAPHI on Twitch. So make sure you DM her to get your chest if you do win.
Yes. Actually, I think it's one Safi. But anyway, check the Twitch chat. You will see Safi there. So just the DM whoever's the mod. That's the right account. If there's another Safi, you might get a bit suspicious there. Um, and then the
Don't
announcement
give your
for
password. Don't give your password.
yeah, if that's Safi, then ask for your password and be aware. Okay. That the real Safi should not ask you for your password. Anyway, the other Hextech key codes for the players are for all those players who played really all the matches throughout all 3 days and subs. So yeah, and I think else all the winners will get like well, either information in team chat or the GGWP Discord server. So yeah, I think that's
That
about it.
That takes care of all of the pleasantries we had to handle beforehand. So we do now have our finals to get to. The reason we are all here. Why don't we take a look here at the groups to see just exactly how these teams got where they are, and we could see Black Lion. No surprise there in finals.
Yeah,
4-0. Seraphya, a little bit of a surprise that they're in finals.
yeah, indeed. And they barely made it through. They were in this third, fourth place decider match. So they had to play Team Jinx and beat them. And this way they actually made it through to the upper bracket. And I mean, the bracket system is like if you, it's not like an upper bracket and lower bracket where you can get back into the finals. You need to be in the upper bracket to make this final. So they were
Mhm.
barely making it. Just one game win in the group, then winning the decider, and then they went on beating Disability Pride Gaming in a really close best of three, 2-1.
And then going forward, just swept their way through Hewa and now are in the finals. Black Lion, again, not really a surprise.
Yeah,
2-0 in the game that got them here, and they have been dominant throughout the tournament. So they are definitely the Goliath to the David of Seraphia in this matchup for sure.
yeah. Not a single loss. And I mean, it's not really surprising because if you have a quick look at the roster, there's one name that really, like, instantly should catch your attention, and that is Starry. On top lane, Starry, literal game changers winner. So that's not a surprise that they made it there. The question is if Seraphia now, especially with this is going to be the first best of, well, first and only best of five. of this tournament, if they are maybe cooking up some specific drafts, picking away some specific champs, and maybe can just go really deep into their pool, where they have a chance to actually finally get like one win and then maybe even the whole match victory against Black Lion.
It's very clear that the onus is going to be on Seraphia to come in and change things up and make sure that they are bringing something that Black Lion are not prepared for, because Black Lion, it could just be another day in the office for them. They are able to just go in and do what they have been doing this entire tournament. Seraphia, though, I do want to see how much they've prepared for Black Lion, because we have a lot of information about some of these players. Maybe not
Indeed.
as much going the other way around.
Indeed, indeed. And I think it's also one more thing. It's not only information about the players, but also looking at what made them win. I think if you're a winning team, you always get to this point where you're kind of like, well, what we did worked, so why should we change it? While their opponents can look at them, like, first of all, they had losses already. They know what they need to improve on, and they also know what worked for the enemy team and probably did not change because they kept on winning, so they know how to approach them more easily. So as long as Seraphia here can keep up on an individual level, they might also have some tactics ready to counter Black Lion. As we head into draft, I think now the most interesting thing is going to be how are the picks going, because especially in a game 1 fearless best of 5, you might not always want to go full into your comfort zone, but rather pick away enemy comforts. So it's going to be interesting what picks we will see here early on, which one will be contested.
Absolutely, especially too because like we are in a fearless draft, which we do need to point out. So anything that does get picked is getting picked once and only once. So you have to be careful here, especially if you want to take away a pocket pick from another player. You're taking that away for the entire series if you're able to grab that.
Exactly.
So we do see our final bans here. We see the Scion ban away from Starry, Poppy taken away, and the first pick, Syndra, is what we're hovering for Seraphia, and that's going to get locked in.
First pick Syndra. I actually did that before when I was coaching Mortality Rising Beast in a game 2, to be fair, against Scallions. We lost that game because you know what the enemy did? They just threw assassins and engaged onto us. Shah was super confident about the pick, and after the game she was like, maybe that was a mistake. And I could see that Seraphia here might come to regret this. This is going to be very interesting because Ambessa is already picked, but it's exactly the pick you want to throw at the Syndra. It's an immobile champ, get a lot of engage going, get assassins going. Funny enough, who was on Galleon's? Evie, who's playing right now on Black Lion. What did she pick into Syndra when she saw it? It was Akali, so I'm pretty sure she will lock it here.
Yeah. Not surprising, Akali able to do a lot, like you said, against the immobile mage that Syndra is. The Aatrox is currently the hover, which is kind of one of those great equalizers in the lane, very difficult to do something about. And then once the team fight phase comes around, Aatrox is able to just be a big body. But the issue still lies here that Seraphia need a compositional answer for this backline access that has been selected. And the Kindred does provide at least a little bit of something, but that's not seemingly what they're going to go for, because they're going to go through a bunch of different champions to make me look like I'm dumb. And so now they're hovering the Maokai, and I swear if you guys change it again, I'm going to be really sad, and they didn't, so it is going to be the Maokai as the front line here.
And that makes a lot of sense because Black Lion's comp right now is to go in and with the first 2 picks if they want a team fight. And generally, when you already have 2 picks that are very one-sided in your draft, you kind of want to follow up on that. You don't want to pivot and suddenly start playing a pure comp. So Maokai makes perfect sense here. The only thing is about this champ right now is now you can pick a jungler that can just power farm their way through the game. As we're waiting for the lock here, and actually just gonna be Sivir also makes a lot of sense. It's something Knochentuppe played a lot. It's a very safe AD carry with a lot of wave clear, and it's very supportive for the team as well. So you don't want to have this one banned away. Gives the opportunity to Seraphia to just ban away some of the junglers they might be scared of now that they blinded this Maokai pick.
Yeah, it's giving more power to those solo lanes, right? The ult allowing for Akali and Ambessa to just get into that backline still, because they're expecting another backline threat that they're gonna have to deal with. And yeah, okay, you got the Maokai. Maokai is not the tankiest member in the current state of things, unless he gets super fed. You can work through him. Also solid just to deal with this Aatrox trying to run down on the Sivir, as well as we do see our bans. We have the Aphelios and the Xayah banned away by Black Lion. The Jarvan from Seraphya, just to again take away some of that early game kind of engine that this comp will want to have to get going and continue to just be too strong to deal with.
Yeah, additionally, it would provide an easy engage option in the later stages of the game for Ambessa to hit her ult. That's something that Ambessa still sometimes has a hard time on, even if it's on a mobile champ. You rather want something that sets you up, that makes it really, really easy for you to hit your ultimate, and right now that's not given yet. And we see a Milio, and I like the Milio because it counts as the Maokai ultimate. So you can just make sure you get that CC off your carries that want to go in. But it also makes it interesting because now we are waiting for that jungle pick to be locked in as the last pick. Oh, and Soraka. Oh, I like that.
That's really okay. It's wild, but it's really good. I see
Yeah.
the angle.
Yes, especially because one more thing that Black Lion has right now is strong side lanes. So they could play through side lanes, and Aatrox especially might be a champ that could answer it. But now with the Soraka, it's gonna be even easier because she can always, just press R and make sure you heal up, and suddenly you win that 1v1 that you were about to lose. And Wukong now is an R5, a bit boring to be honest, but at least we get it out of the way for
Gotta
the next
step
game.
it up, guys. Come on, I need more action.
And
I need more excitement.
That's actually a thing though now. Wukong for me is not like a main engage, and you would like a main engage with the Ambassador. So right now, with the Maokai in place even, it's very easy for Team Seraphia to kite back. The most important thing is that you really just don't step into the range of the Wukong, and you should be okay, and you have long range with Jinx and Syndra as well. So that should be doable.
Yeah, I'm also just very happy because there is Melio in the game, and for anybody that does know me, I love that champion so much. I have learned the ins and outs of that champion, and I am a habitual caller out of mana flow banned on Melio. If I see it, I'm gonna be sad. I'm gonna be very sad and a little bit upset. But like you said, I think the Melio is really, really good into the Maokai. And I also am just like excited to see how this team plays out, because Black Lion obviously have confidence, and you could see that in the picks that they've selected. They're about getting strong and running down that backline and not getting to the late game. Seraphia, they want to stall as long as possible. They have a Syndra, they have a Jinx. They're very clearly looking to bide time as much as they can.
Yeah, indeed. I think though Seraphia's comp also a bit harder to play, because even though Black Lion doesn't have the most insane engage, they have very strong solo laners in their team with Eevee and Starry. And on top of that, I think even though, like I already just said, the engage options aren't the most optimal, I think for a team that's just a mix for this tournament, it is a bit harder to really position yourself perfectly and make sure that they don't find these angles. So you need to be really, really disciplined, but that's also where you can really show your skill to make sure you always stay out of range, that it becomes very hard, and that Wukong kind of needs to find, for example, this desperate warrior trickster engage option, because that range is not really long, and if there's a champ really far away, you might need to flash in to really make sure you hit your cyclone, but that might also mean that the rest of the team is still very far back, so you can focus on the Wukong and probably the ambassador is following up. So this is kind of what Seraphia wants to do, stay enough out of range to kind of force well, force Black Lion to maybe do something bad, pull off a bad engage, and then kill the first target while Soraka keeps everyone alive.
Absolutely, but we're gonna have to see if they're gonna be able to do it. We are gonna set it to a quick break while we wait for our spectator delay, guys. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. All right, welcome back, everybody. We are in to our first game of the day. Seraphya on the blue side, Black Lion on the red, and the teams are getting out onto the rift. Does seem like we are getting a fairly standard spread here, as nobody wants to get some super crazy level 1 action.
Ooh, very nice snow here as well. And Knochentope with the Cull start. But that's what Knochentope did the last games as well. So nothing surprising here as Starry actually face checking. I might be in danger.
Yeah, looking a little rough here. Has to use the flash as well. So we'll have to forego a flash for the laning
Ooh.
phase. And Sarah's looking to continue to interrupt here and stop that back. Lose
That
a
is
little
huge.
bit of minions here on the
Yeah.
first wave.
And now you have to make a decision. Either you fall behind in XP, you stay, or you TP. And actually, the answer is Starry is staying with half HP. That is huge. No flash, half HP, that makes the lane a lot harder, and that's something very, very big. I mean, I'm gonna get memed for this because I always repeat it, but against the Game Changers winner, wow.
Yeah, I mean, she is. Granted, Aatrox's laning phase in the early game for against a champion like Ambessa. Ambessa should still have a solid time here. She does have a lot of tools that Aatrox does not have good answers to. Most of which being the dash on every single ability to avoid that Aatrox Q. We also see in the bot lane here, Black Lion getting a lot of damage onto the Jinx, but they do lose the level 2 for that.
Yeah, I'm definitely not so worth it because Soraka will be able to heal up a bit more than the Milio, and you can already see it as long as you hit that Q, which is actually quite bad as long as that Starfall connects. That Soraka will just keep on healing, and so far Mimi is doing a good job here getting the push in. And it's always so troublesome to CS under the turret. You already put them under pressure here. I really hate CSing that. I mean, anyone hates CSing under turret. Let's be fair.
Also, a bit of trading in the mid lane. Big thing here, junglers starting on opposite sides of the map here. And because of that early trading that we have, we see an early ward thrown down. And they actually, oh no, they see the red buff is gone. They think that they're at blue buff right now for Black Lion. They think the Wukong is on the bot side. So hopefully that doesn't come back to bite them, but is a miscall nonetheless.
Yeah, either way though, Wukong usually not a good ganker, so I think right now, especially with the Scuttle being in control of Maokai and no one else showing up, I think they should still have the information. The only scary part could be if you're looking for the dive, because even though Starry was half HP at the start of this laning phase, she's now doing a very, very good job and putting this Aatrox under pressure.
Does seem like it was just to make sure that Starry could back. There's the Wukong will back alongside her. We are going to get a reset here. Both TPs being used in the top lane. A slow start to this game, and that's exactly what we wanted to see. Well, I might have spoken too soon as we have a little bit of action breaking out on the bot side. Not until I will back away from that a little bit on the weaker end, but the heal used by Soraka.
Yeah, indeed, and it's a summoner forced out. But I at least like that so far they're respecting Knochentopet and not overtrading. That's something that happened in the games I was spectating, because Knochentopet, if you just look at rank, you would say, okay, bot lane is the lane we want to target. And then in the 2 games I watched with Knochentopet, the enemy both times was like in a really good spot in the laning phase and overtraded, went too deep, and Knochentopet actually got some important kills, and suddenly the lane was in her favor.
Well,
Lane.
right now I'm seeing a lot of things not in favor, and that's actually first blood for Kazara there, as the Aatrox able to walk down this Ambessa. Beautiful play by Kazara.
Yes, and let's see what actually happens, because, well, actually, Kazera and Starry were still quite healthy. Starry here, maybe overestimating a bit how much you can trade into that Aatrox, and then you get pulled back by the chain, no chance to escape because all your spells are on cooldown. And that's first blood against the Game Changers winner. Woo!
You can win
But
game
obviously-
changers, but Cafe Cuties Cup is a different beast. Clearly,
Indeed. No, but to be fair, I gotta say that though. I think the most times, like, players, like, especially if you look, for example, at Edu, where players really start stepping up, is also in the later stages of the game or recovering from such a death. So Gotta see a bit more to really believe that Aatrox will keep like hard winning the lane. But I think later on, either way, Sari will find angles to be strong in this Ambassador. This champ
Yeah.
is always disgusting to play into, especially when you have champs like Syndra and Jinx. You gotta watch your step that an Ambassador doesn't come flying into your face.
Yeah, a lot of tools for Ambessa. So if you are where you can... Oh, we're actually going to go in onto Eevee, but she will back away. That is the Akali taking a lot of damage. That's the Syndra ult as well. As Seraphya is going to push back Eevee, and that gives a lot of pressure for this dragon fight because they don't have a TP for that Akali.
Yeah, indeed. Obviously no Syndra ult available, which lacks them a bit of damage. Actually, I'm not sure if Wukong right now is about to hit level 6 on this camp. Well, it doesn't really matter if you can just pull the blue buff away and take it yourself. That was disgusting.
And now we have the fight breaking out under the dragon, and we do get it stolen by Black Lion, and somehow, some way, we're seeing Black Lion win the fight. They focused so much to get onto the Wukong and the Akali, but they couldn't get the kills in time, and now Sivir is left to clean up. Nakatobe has destroyed this fight.
Yeah, indeed. I think they were a bit overambitious here, taking on that dragon, because you used your Syndra ult to deal a lot of damage to that Akali, but Akali has a lot of ways. Actually, hold on, there might be one more kill.
Yeah, we do see this Syndra trying to get away, and Nakatobe actually played a little bit too aggressive there. Will die to the boomerang blade, but getting a trait there is... I don't know how you got a trait there.
Actually good, because now that means Wukong will not get an assist, and well, Seraphya still has teleport, so after respawning can... Oh, hold up, of course.
And there is the Ambessa ultimate coming through, as Kazera's gonna use the World Ender, but the Cyclone buys a little bit more extra time, and Kazera with the Soraka ult trying to stay alive. Here comes Melio just to watch Aatrox die, and Kazera will now go down as well.
Yeah, indeed. A lot of action happening here. Another kill coming through. Not respecting that Wukong was topside here, but at least Mimi gets a good push and gets some plates. But yeah, about the dragon, to be fair, it was a bit overambitious, because if you look at the facts, obviously you got a lot of HP from that Akali, but after you use the Syndra ult, especially like Jinx will not have a lot of burst damage, and that's kind of the only DPS you can still rely on, because Syndra, well, like I said, doesn't have the unleashed power anymore. So taking that dragon was a bit overambitious, because you don't really have a lot of damage left.
Yeah, unfortunately, may not matter here. No, Eevee gets out. Eevee survives. Somehow, some way, the Akali mobility comes in clutch and gets Eevee out of a bind. And that was both mid and jungle ultimates used for Seraphya.
Yeah, that is huge. Really well played by Eevee, and that's why it's a bit risky to pick B1 Syndra into her, because she can get the strong Akali pick, which is just generally, like, she's really happy to lane into Syndra. And then if you have picks like Jinx, Syndra, if you don't instantly get that kill with the unleashed power, she's gonna be so slippery and hard to get on, and it's just gonna get worse, because with you now not getting that kill, she can still have a very, very fine lane here, even more as long as the unleashed power is on cooldown, and just scale up, and then later on, obviously, also be a menace in the side lane.
We'll just see backs from our 80 carries here, and granted, all things considered, with how that dragon fight went, Seraphia are keeping up as of right now. We have seen 2 objectives taken. Both of them have gone over to Black Lion, one of them being a steal. But right now, all things considered, Seraphia are scaling up about as well as you could ask against a team like the one Black Lion put together.
Indeed, indeed. And there might be another kill coming through. Good roam towards top lane.
Ooh, good ultimate there. The Scat of the Week doesn't get the stun. The root will come through. The shield to keep alive the Ambessa, but unfortunately will not be enough. That will be a death for Starry, as We're going to see Eevee try to shove in this wave and get a tower plate as a recompense.
Yeah, but this is the kind of plays that give me hope that this is not going to be a one-sided best of 5 and then Seraphya. I mean, they're already putting up a fight, but it's always different how do we play the mid game, because I think this is where, like, mid game right now in competitive games always very, very key, because even if you have a big lead, if you do like an overstep, for example, it could cost you the game and suddenly it turns around. But things like this already showing me that they're playing a really great macro game, going through mid lane to play into side lane and getting the carry you want ahead. Because with this, that means Kasara right now already has an item finish going on and can keep answering into Starry here on that side lane.
Sorry, 0-2 right now. Want to point out as well. Our Game Changers champion right now having a little bit of a rougher time today, as our second dragon is now spawning. This one, seemingly, Black Lion are going to have the first pass at, as they want to pull that immediately.
Yeah, but I think that, again, is risky. We're taking some very risky drakes. This time, it is Black Lion, but you just need a Syndra ult for the Jinx reset to make sure that the Jinx can clean up.
We use the Maokai ult to get in there as Eevee's coming around to the back line, but the fight's already broken out and Wukong is very low. The steal again the other way as Seraphya might have found a way to win this fight, but they're losing out heavily because this Sivir is just untouched. They do get the kill onto the Melio. Wukong likely to fall next, does eventually go down, but again, this Sivir has been left to do so much work. Aatrox TPing in Kazara is going to run down this carry, and that's a shutdown going over to Kazara. And hey, Dragon going over to Seraphya. Nobody could secure a Drake today.
Yeah, I mean, Dragon is lava, honestly. Like, you need to be very sure when you start the Dragon, and I think in both scenarios, it was both ways. I don't think either team was in the best position when they started it up. It looked not too bad, because Eevee especially got a lot of damage out, and then still got out of the fight. But that Soraka kept healing. Funny enough, also with the ultimate, got herself an assist on top lane, because in the meantime, Starry also died to the Aatrox, who then later on was able to TP to punish Knochenturbo on an overstep. That said though, I mean, it is fearless, so that's, you're looking at the bright side here. Either way, no matter if they win or lose the game, the Sivir is gonna be gone for Knochenturbo in the next game. But this is exactly why Knochenturbo likes to pick the Sivir, really shining on this pick, already being 6-2.
Yeah, and you can see the difference in the items specifically too. We have 1.5 items completed for the Sivir, and then on the other side, we are still waiting for a first item to get finished on this Jinx. So there's a large gulf in terms of the 80 carries right now, but this Aatrox is feeling very strong. Kazara's 3 kills right now, and the Sundered Sky makes that ability to heal just a little bit stronger.
Yeah, indeed. But now it's gonna be very interesting is how much damage can the Aatrox do staying on top lane, Herald spawning, and if you want to look at the feat of strength, that can be a very key objective, because if Black Lion picks it up, they actually get a point, and then it's all about rushing the first turret to get the feat of strength. But if it is Seraphya getting it, they will get the, well, they get one step closer to getting the feat of strength themselves, and it all depends on the next dragon.
Cyclops leading the charge here, but it is going to be picked up by Seraphya. But now the fight maybe not going their way because they're left alone to die, and now it is everybody on the run. They are scrambling to try and get out, and they will. It is a sacrifice of Kazara in order to get that second objective.
Yeah, indeed, but I would say not too bad, and maybe you even can get a kill on the Wukong here. Should go down to the rocket, and that is massive. Now it's just a 1-for-1, because I was already about to say, you get the Herald and just give up 1 kill. That is actually not bad, but now it's a 1-for-1, and you got the Herald, and you're just one dragon away from picking up the feat of strength on the side of Seraphia as well. So they are in a pretty good spot with this one, because the Herald also means they can tear up the map later on, especially when that dragon spawns. We have a bit more than a minute with the Herald on that Aatrox. The Aatrox also moving towards bot lane, which is already decide where the dragon is, and they are looking to do damage here with the Herald, and potentially actually just picking up the feat of strength with it right before the dragon. And then have a small bonus with the upgraded boots as well.
Yeah, also kills going over to that Jinx are huge right now to get her up to speed with what the Sivir is at, because Nakantopa is at 7 kills, 7 of the 9 kills. So even if Nakantopa is surviving, Nakantopa has to be doing damage in these fights, because that is the vast majority of this team at the current moment.
And the good thing though is, with Knockentopper having 2 items, it's extremely hard to hit this CV as long as Knockentopper is positioning very well. As you will be worried about the Ambassador and Akali engaging onto you, and maybe even Akali collecting a solo kill here.
Ooh. Does not get hit by the Scatter the Weak, and Eevee will force Syndra back, and this is a Syndra without the TP. Both mid laners are backing right now, but Eevee specifically does have the teleport ready to go as this dragon is started, and you can see they're aware of that. Gonna see the TP used. First turret is going to go over to Seraphia as the dragon will get picked up.
Yeah, indeed. That means, though, I mean, they were kind of putting them into a lose-lose scenario with the Herald anyway. They're getting the feat of strength, they're getting the upgraded boots, which is actually kind of nice. There's a lot of physical damage on the side of Black Lion with Ambassador Wukong and Sivir, and especially the Sivir is fat. So champs like Maokai and Aatrox, who already invested into the steel caps, can later on get a good upgrade, get this physical damage shield to shield themselves from their enemy a bit better, because Akali, all that Akali has is burst damage, and that's especially focused on either the Syndra and the Jinx. And maybe if you look at the items, as I think nothing is gonna happen for a little bit, one interesting standout here is that we have this the Syndra build, and it was nerfed a bit, but I personally still think it's very, very strong. A Syndra build that I think was Nemesis on Los Ratones who established it. Going the Swifty is combined with Blackfire Torch, and then later on you go Cosmic Drive as well. So you just are very, very mobile, and it's needed here because, well, you might deal a bit less burst damage, but at least you can get away from the Ambassador and the Akali more easily.
Yeah, I mean, like, doing less burst damage is fine if it means you actually get to do the damage in the first place.
Yeah, indeed.
Like, you can't do damage if you're dead, so you do have to be able to stay alive. So we are itemizing specifically to make sure that that is still the case. And now we take a look at our game here, and we said it's got to be an early win here. Or maybe not an early win, but we are looking to see Black Lion get ahead early. They have not done so. It is now a lead for Seraphia as they have started to take things away, and now the Wukong's gonna have to Cyclone, caught by the Aatrox W, flashes over the wall, trying to get away using the Cyclone for a little bit of speed. The smite not gonna be enough as Alchemeda will get back under tower and does eventually go down, and now the whole team has been led straight to the Otacon.
Indeed they do, but I hope they didn't actually just start it up. I think that's still a bit risky. I mean, yeah, you have Smite, but that Atacant shreds your resistances and often has been a bait. And there's still a lot of good damage on the side of Black Lion. Okay, really happy here. Didn't just start the Atacant, even forced out the TP and the ultimate of the Ambassador. That is massive for the side of Seraphia. Black Lion here was a bit too worried that it might get started up. And maybe even thought there's a good comeback angle if they started up, but in the end, they're just getting baited in. And yeah, that is huge. That is huge for the side of Seraphia yet again. Get a kill, and bait the Atacant a bit, and force out the TP of Starry as well.
It is another resource gone here when Black Lion very desperately need those resources to stay in this game. They have started to fall behind a little bit, and it's on a team that does not want to play from behind. And a Kali that can't get kills is not very useful. And Ambessa, without stats in the late game, doesn't provide you a whole lot. And that is currently the direction we're heading here, unless Black Lion can find an inn.
Yeah, indeed. It also will make it much easier as long as like the Syndra and Jinx are doing better than these. Well, I mean I know Ambessa is not necessarily called an assassin, but still she has a lot of assassin features. As long as you like can take care of these assassins because they're not overly fat, you actually are very fine in the game. Especially because you also have a Seraphya who can heal you up, and maybe you even get a catch here on Starry. Actually, I think she's fine.
Yeah, so using the
Yeah.
Syndra very, very early just for, again, damage. It feels like Seraphya are really trying to prioritize this Otacon here, as Kazar is going to get the tower in the top side. They really want to keep pressure on this bottom lane to make sure, hey, if we have an opportunity to go for this Otacon, let's get
Yeah.
it and make sure we get it very safely.
Yeah, and one key thing, and I really wonder. It felt like maybe even something they generally wanted to do, but everything around this game was around enabling that Aatrox. Obviously, the level 1, that's something that I guess Starry also did to herself by invading. It could be something though that Seraphia's team analyzed and saw coming, so they were ready to punish Starry there, and then later on also the roam together mid jungle, just going top lane to get a kill for that Aatrox, just making sure that Aatrox is strong. Because as long as Aatrox is strong, the threat of a strong side lane is not there as they now start up the dragon.
Cyclone and Bessa ult as well, and Black Lion might have found their way in, but now maybe having to flash over the wall, and Black Lion still in this fight. Sivir is very low. The dragon does get picked up by Black Lion, and Sivir still alive. The HP bars are gone, and Mimi left alone. It is an ace for one, and Black Lion find the fight they desperately needed.
Yes, indeed, and that's what I was saying, that I really want to see what's happening in mid-game, because one mistake could cost you the game, and this might be the mistake that will Seraphia actually, fun enough, even in goal, despite the lost fight. But you really gotta take care about these dragons. They are very hasty. Actually, both sides are often very hasty in starting up the dragons, and the issue is you have a team that when you are at the dragon, you're kind of stationary. And that means the Syndra and the Jinx are very easy to engage on. On top of that, you should always kite out the dragon to make sure it's not as easy to engage on you. Especially against a comp that has a pick like the Ambassador, who can easily get onto you. And that's exactly what did not happen. A bit hasty on the dragon, not kited out either, and because of that, it made it very, very easy for them to find this engage. And that's what I said in draft. You really gotta make sure you position well, and when you get that dragon and you're stationary, well, then you will just get engaged very easily, and that fight was an easy win for Black Lion because of that.
Yeah, I mean, you also just look at Mimi, who had to flash out of the pit and just could not put
Yeah,
damage down for a lot of that fight too.
indeed.
We are both of the damage threats for Seraphia could not really do a whole lot in that fight, which is exactly what Black Lion needed, because they don't have a lot of front line. They need to be able to get those damage dealing threats out of the fight if they're not able to kill them immediately. Baron has spawned 25 minutes into the game. Want to point out that is now soul point for Black Lion, and that is an Ocean Soul if they are able to pick that up, which would be very helpful in keeping them alive in these fights.
Yeah, I would say especially in the side lane. I think in team fights is still not as bad for Seraphia because what they rely on, and that's just what they need to make sure that the Syndra doesn't get engaged on, that the Jinx doesn't get engaged on, that they are in a very good position. As long as they have that, they can still burst the target. The Ocean Soul is not going to help a lot against that. And they want that Jinx reset. But overall in side lane, that's going to be a huge thing. As Seraphia here, alone on top lane, might actually get caught out. Notices in time that she has to run out. But yeah, in the side lane, the Ambessa, the Akali, so far, they were really easy to deal with for Kisara because that Aatrox was very, very strong. But suddenly, especially if you get that Ocean Soul, that is different because you're gonna be perma-fighting. But if you perma-fight into an Akali or an Ambessa that has the Ocean Soul and heals up, they can just stay in that side lane longer and healthier and put pressure on you. So right now, especially because of that, it's all gonna be around that soul, and if Seraphia can deny that.
Seeing a lot of posturing around the Baron right now. I don't think anybody really wants to go for it, but the threat is still there. Both top laners currently in the bot lane, pressuring back and forth. And it is a lot of wave trading right now. There is a lot of tenseness in this
Yeah.
game at the moment because you can tell that Black Lion want to find their angle to get in for these fights, but at the same time, Seraphia, they are feeling very strong, especially considering again, just like going back to the start of the day where we were like, this is a team that in groups was 1-4, and
Yeah.
they needed to win their way out back up to the finals, and were able to do so. And not only have they done that, they have shown their worth against Black Lion specifically.
Indeed, indeed. That we're already at the point here that we're 28 minutes in, and this game is still completely undecided. Yes, it's favoring Backline, but one good team fight for Seraphia, one fix around like the positioning, because they still have a very easy comp as long as they position well. Like really, positioning. It's all about this. As long as Syndra and Jinx can be in a good spot when the engage is happening, so the rest of Blackline can't follow up as easily. As long as that happens, they could turn around this game yet again. Dragon about to spawn. Now, don't be too hasty. Make sure you take control and don't get engaged on. Don't be in a position where they can actually sandwich you. Oh, this is dangerous.
Yeah, they've gone a little bit too hard onto the Ambessa, and Starry's able to get out. The back line, though, we're seeing the Jinx able to do some damage. Gets a reset. The Akali now showing up. Gets one kill, but doesn't get the Jinx. Mimi needs to flash over to get it. Goes on to the Sivir, and Sivir is gone. A triple kill for Mimi. And it is 3 for 3, or 3 for 2 right now, as the dragon is still being done by the Maokai. The smite is still up. We'll be able to grab it, and the dragon is gotten in exchange for Kazara. Can't get the Melio down, and needs to do something. Gets the kill on one with the help of the Melio. Gets on to the Maokai as well, and they don't get the dragon, but they do get the ace for Black Lion.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, they win the fight, which means the gold is still not looking too bad, although I think some shutdowns went over. So overall, that it still was a bit better for Seraphia, especially because they got the Drake. That obviously was really, really good for them. But I also felt like that engaged start, they got sandwiched. I don't think Seraphia was in a great position themselves. But they pulled the trigger a bit too fast, which allowed Mimi to actually pop off in that fight, get that reset, and even flash over the wall, and get another kill to make sure, well, Wukong is down, we get the dragon. They should have just ran out there, because honestly, you're very happy with this. But now, Baron is gonna get started off, still 10k, as Kazara is TPing in, scouting for some info, while the rest of the team is still joining. Just needs to care to not get engaged on, but at the same time, Black Lion also needs to care to not use too much engage, as the Baron seems to be done.
They smited very early. They really wanted to get that one down, but now they got to fight their way out as Eevee does get out there. As there is Starry going in, maybe a little ill-advised. This shutdown's going to go over to Kazara, and that is another bit of gold. But the Baron, specifically, Black Lion, able to get out with Starry as a sacrifice.
Yeah, indeed. I wasn't actually sure. I think that was a bit of miscommunication, it seems like. I felt like some of the team were just like, yeah, we want to go out. And Starry was like, nope, nope. I want to give in. I'm a besser. And Starry then in the end, though, because of this, giving up a huge shutdown. And
It's
that
the
means
ping
Seraphia
difference.
keeps up. True, ping difference. I was already pressing ult when you said out. What the hell?
Yeah, no. I had to make one
What?
joke. All right, this is my North American compatriot. I need to.
But Starry, we said 10 seconds ago that we leave after the burn. Ping!
I've already
What
clicked
the
in.
hell?
3 minutes ago, I clicked to go in.
But anyway, that also means that Seraphia, even though the Baron is going down right now, they're still having a very, very slight gold lead. And also the Baron timer right now, it's not gonna be perfect around the Dragon. It still should allow them to get a really good recall enough time before Dragon starts, so they should get a better setup. But the best they can really do is tear on this turret. So let's see how many inner turrets they can get here, as mid lane is already defended very well, but Eevee at the same time is also pushing that top lane that Black Lion will rotate into.
And they are making sure there is no angle to get in onto this Akali safely. Tower will go down. And that is a little bit of extra gold in the pocket for Black Lion, as defensive measures still being set up here by Seraphia, going a little aggressive there. I was a little scared for Kazara going a little bit deep, but now we are just back onto wave clear duty, and trying to get another tower with this Baron is going to be a difficult task.
Yeah, to be fair though, Kazara can actually step up. And that's kind of giving them a lot of control over this game, because this is something they still lack, having enough burst damage for a champ like Aatrox, who has a lot of healing, who has the Static Shield as well. Obviously also the physical damage shield from the boots upgrades on top of that, and then comes in with a lot of healing through the passive. And because of that, and then Thunder Sky, I actually forgot about that one too. So there's a lot of sustain healing for that Aatrox. But it's also something Black Lion is really respecting. So whenever Aatrox approaches, you can also see the movement of Black Lion. They're moving away from that Aatrox. They're also not using their engage tools on that Aatrox, because they know we can't kill that Aatrox fast enough. And if you use all our tools on the Aatrox, we're kind of doomed, because it means Jinx and Syndra can free hit. So when you look at these fights about to break out and Aatrox approaches, they're kind of like, yeah, no, we're fine with you. Our real targets is either the Soraka because of the healing, or the Jinx or the Syndra because they are the carries.
Seeing Starry walk behind here, does get hit by the stun, lots of damage done. Now they're looking to maybe continue in. Akali now getting into the back line, as there's the Cyclone forcing out this Jinx, but the Jinx is still very healthy and able to walk back forward, and the resets are coming through. Seraphia found their angle for the fight, and everybody's running backwards. There's the kill for Starry, as she's gonna try and run away, get a little bit of something for the team, but it is still a big win for Seraphia.
Yeah. Actually a huge angle here by Eevee to find that engage, but even better by Seraphia, how controlled they played that fight, how they were instantly kiting back and making sure to protect the carries, get a reset for the Jinx, and then handle this fight very well, getting a 2-for-1 and the Dragon. Most important thing here also about these fights is always that Wukong is one of these main engagers who has to go deep into the team, but it's still a target that's very, very easy to kill for Seraphia's side, as they now chase down that Ambassador.
Scout of the Week does hit, and they will get more CC, and unfortunately, Starry will go down. So they do eventually get the kill on that Ambessa. But again, now we are on soul point here for two different teams.
Yeah, indeed. But right now, it feels like, you know, the way Black Lion was winning was due to mistakes. And maybe we actually have one here. Maybe that's a mistake.
A little scary, and that is going to just be a free kill given over, but I don't think there's a way out of this
Yeah,
here either. So that is a 1-for-1. Granted, no no massive objective that is up right
yeah.
now, but the Baron is spawning in 30 seconds. Both those players probably want to be sprinting right over to that top side when they get back up.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, the upside for Seraphia is they don't have to worry about the bot lane push anymore. Atrix can quickly push that and then join the team. The downside is, though, that they are missing the Soraka now, which could put up the vision with the control they would gain. But I would say overall, Soraka's about to respawn. Atrix is pushing bot side. Someone needs to answer that at some point as well. So it should be not too bad. But yeah, what I wanted to say is that all in all, Black Lion so far, they've been mainly winning, I mean, through the first Baron, but also through punishing mistakes of Seraphia, which has worked really well for them. But now Seraphia seems to be a lot more controlled in the fight, so let's see how they handle this one.
They're a little slow to this Baron, and it's going to be a Baron picked up, and that is a massive engage onto Mimi, and Mimi gets hit by the Cyclone and is gone. That's one of the damage members out, and the positioning that you mentioned so many times is faltering at the worst possible moment. Black Lion get the Baron. They get a couple of kills. They might get another one here on Kazera, because I don't think there's a way to get out of this one, and Black Lion might have opened up this game.
Yeah, that does a very, very massive engage from Starry. And that's something I said actually in the laning phase, no? Starry, even if she's gonna be behind, she's gonna find these angles with the Ambassador. Yeah, they're going for it, but to be honest, I don't think they can. They might have the Baron, but Jinx and Soraka are about to respawn. This shouldn't be possible. And I think they should know themselves. Oh, they're going for it anyway.
They're gonna go for it. They're going for the tower dives here. And that is the Syndra gone, taken out as Seraphia is gone. The Maokai getting back into the fountain. They're doing a lot of damage, and the Nexus falls. Black Lion sneak a win away in game number 1.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, in the end, this is all you need, you know, like, who cares if you're behind on Ambassador, because you need that one engage. And then there's something, like, right before the Baron, I was saying, okay, so far, Black Lion has been winning when they were forcing mistakes of Team Seraphia, but the best way to force a mistake out of them or punish a mistake is already seeing, okay, they aren't in the best map position, first mistake, so we can start Baron. And then we can keep doing Baron because we know right now, Seraphia, if they play like a standard slow game, they're completely fine in it. They have no issue to play out these fights, get a reset through the unleashed power from the Syndra, especially in the late stages with the execute, and then Jinx rolls over them. But if you start up that Baron, especially when Seraphia is in a bad map position, and you see, and Seraphia sees this, and they just rush in and we're like, we need to cancel this, this is where you force the deciding mistake. Starry saw the angle on the Jinx, made sure to get that kill, and with this, clean up the fight, because Jinx really was the main damage source throughout a long team fight, and that was very, very well played by her, but also by Black Lion.
Yeah, it is absolutely beautiful, and I think about as good a game 1 as we could have asked for this finals. But that is only game number 1. Black Lion able to get a win, a little bit less conventional than we might have thought. But now they need to get 2 more in order to take this finals. But we are going to send it to a quick break as we get ready for game number 2. And welcome back, everybody. Hope you've had a couple of minutes to grab a quick drink here as we get ready for game number 2. And Black Lion, they're 1-0, but I think not in the fashion that we expected here as we take a look here. Look at this gold graph. This is Seraphia's game for the vast majority of it, and they were the scaling team.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, overall, they did a very, very good job on majority of the parts of the games. A few bumps, especially around the dragons. I think that's very much something to look at if you get like a very good draft like this again, which obviously is harder. It's fearless, so you need to change your approach a good bit. Um, but I had a lot of control over the game most of the time, and then Black Lion forced some really decisive mistakes, and that's what you really want to do on the ambassador, because even though Starry got shut down early, you can see even just in the damage graph how much damage she was putting out in these games as well, and she was the deciding factor, getting that engage onto Mimi as well to win that final fight.
I mean, that was kind of the big thing is like, yeah, the early game did not go well for Starry. However, the late game, the big engages that were necessary because we talked about the Cyclone, not great long range engage.
Yeah.
If you want to get onto that Jinx, if you want to get into that backline, it's gonna have to come from using that Mbessa ult. And Starry able to use that to get the right pick at the right time and get our first win here over to Black Lions. Reminder for everybody, we are on Fearless. So everything that was picked in the last game cannot be picked again. And I'm not used to seeing Soraka and Emilio off the board after game number 1.
Yeah, indeed. And they were very fitting in this draft, but
Oh,
it was a
100%.
surprise nevertheless. Um, Now, what I'm interested to see as well is if we see maybe some switch up in the bands. I mean, the Mel and a few sounds familiar already. And I remember there was a sign ban. I actually don't recall the bands exactly. Uh, but yeah, it's always interesting to see when the balance, adapts depending on which picks are still open and what you want to prioritize, or if sometimes teams really just keep on repeating the same bands over and over again.
We are seeing similar to our last game because Sante is taken out. The Scion is
Yeah,
available, and the
sign
Scion is
exactly.
going to get picked up here likely by Seraphia to get that away from Starry.
Yeah, and this also makes it interesting because if you look at the top lane picks that are out, it's Aatrox and Bessa, two of the top counters of Sion, but we have a new champion in the pool, and it is Sahan.
Zahen able to get picked up here, and we'll see how much Starry has put into this new champion. This is just objectively one that we do need to see Starry win in the early to mid game in order to be useful later on, as the Aphelios is the late game insurance for Black Lion, followed up by even more scaling by Seraphia. They are not changing their game plan in the
Yeah.
slightest.
Well, I would say they changed it to even more scaling because
Yeah.
Sion Smolder, infinite stacking of HP for Sion, and we have Smolder who's gonna get the execute very late into the game. For me, the interesting part is where are these picks gonna go? Even the Poppy now. I mean, Sion should be top lane, very obvious overall. Although maybe with the jungle buffs, who knows what they cooked up. But the Smolder, I saw that from Seraphia before, but Mimi probably can play it too, and it was picked after the Aphelios was locked. So we could still see a Smolder here in mid lane, but also in bot lane. Maybe they just wanted to see a few more picks, maybe they wanted to see the support pick, and they still send that Smolder mid lane, although that would mean they would lack some magic damage, so I assume it's probably bot lane.
Yeah.
Now with
I
Lulu
mean,
picked up, you have a good hyper carry.
there's also just the possibility of the Poppy support against the right opposing support as well.
Yeah,
So kind of a Poppy is a very flexible champion, sometimes surprisingly so. Uh,
yeah, indeed.
but yeah, we are gonna get the Lulu. It is looking like a very standard bot lane for Black Lion, as they are gonna be trying to do very similar things in just trying to scale up and stay alive. But again, Black Lions are just not looking to get frontline for their team. We did not see very much in the last game. The Ambessa was the best they got.
Ooh.
Well, okay, they got a little upset at me saying that.
Yeah, indeed. Now it's Silas has been banned, actually from Seraphia's side. So Black Lion saw the opportunity and grabbed it. I had to pick Malphite, and it gets even more interesting because I wonder where that Malphite is actually going. Could be jungle, could be top lane. Like with the jungle buffs, Malphite is actually one
That's
of the
right.
better junglers.
I
It is actually a
forgot.
pretty good jungler, and we have Lux and Seraphine. I really like this because it's one thing they kind of like. I mean, they have a bit better engage from Malphite, but the ult still has a certain amount of range. And right now, Aphelios, especially with a Lulu, suffers into long range. The engage options, they are not really there, especially if a lot of shielding, and that's what you offer with the Seraphine and the Lux. So right now, Seraphia, they want to look for really long-range comps, while Black Lion's only engage option is still just a Malphite. But if you get this really good engage, Galio can immediately follow up and make sure that you're gonna get CC'd for ages. So now, the moment of truth. They could still swap, but it's very much looking like it is a Malphite top lane.
That
I
is
would have liked
actually.
seats in jungle.
I have not seen
Oh!
Zahed Jungle. Okay, yeah, I was gonna say I have not seen Zahed Jungle. I would be surprised if he's capable of it, cause he's got very long cooldown, especially early. So it is going to be the Malphite in the jungle, which does mean, yeah, that's gonna be just a full tank W max Malphite, which is the boring version. However, it does pair along nicely with this Galio to just hit the ult, go in, and then follow
Yeah.
up with Galio ult as well. A lot of CC.
Yeah, indeed. So in this. Oh, and yeah, I mean, they also that bot lane. Oh my god, that Aphelios will not have a fun time. It's actually in the end, it is a smaller mid lane, and it is kind of the flux we were keeping up till the end. Because I'm pretty sure Evie, when she looked at Galio, she was like, okay, sure, that is gonna be a Lux mid lane or a Seraphine mid lane. Wasn't ready for the smaller because usually Galio, especially, I mean, I would say it's very nice either way, and it's a comfort pick for Evie as well. It's a champ she really likes to play and pulled off a lot in Galleons. But I think she was super sure to get a magic damage matchup. But instead, we have Seraphine and Lux on bot lane. And if
So
there's one thing
I'm
Aphelios
gonna
hates,
give
is range.
yeah, I'm gonna give the heads up that we actually don't know positions yet.
Oh,
Because
okay, okay.
this is us redoing the draft that they did, so we don't know where people are. So we're not positive.
Okay, they're right now. They're
Oh,
right now.
they're right now. Okay,
So
so
only
we are
Seraphine and
getting.
Lux were swapped now.
I hate casting this bot lane. Lux Seraphine sounds awful. Why would you pick this? I don't wanna have to cast this. That's so boring.
It is gonna be very boring for the Aphelios because if you don't want to just suffer in the, well, you will suffer in that lane. Let's be fair. But if you want to survive in that lane, all you can do is really just catch minions over and over and over again. But there's one thing as well that if uh, Lux and Seraphine are able to wave manage well, which they should, because you should be able to get full control over this lane. They push in the wave, let it bounce back, and then the Aphelios is a bit cooked, because when you step up, you're just gonna get poked to death, and you are gonna lose a lot of CS. And normally you would say, okay, if that happens, we just send the jungler bot side to make sure to depressure that lane. But you have a Malphite. Before level 6, that champion is
Yeah, I was gonna
really
say.
useless. So what are you gonna do?
It's not just a Malphite before level 6. It's a Malphite maxing W before level 6 as well. We're not even getting like the Q max for that extra little bit of sticking power. So it is going to be a little difficult for this Malphite to do a whole lot before the ultimate is ready. We're going back to that really old school, like, hey, I can't do anything until I get my ultimate,
Yeah.
guys. We gotta wait for a bit, and hopefully once our level 6 power spike hits, then we can do something here. But that pressure might be a little bit too much. Right now, though, we are going to set into a quick break as we get ready for game number 2. Seraphia looking to bounce back after a rough loss in game number 1, and Black Lion wants to get on to match point. and welcome back here. Game number 2 getting underway. We do have the fluorescent green Shamrock Malphite in all his glory in the jungle here for Alacamina. And both teams, again, just filtering out, not looking for any action in this level 1.
Yeah, amazing skin. Oh, and also looking at everything else, looking at items, runes, chosen as well. Also, Starry trying to maybe look for that ward again, but no, this time she's just baiting out the sign decimating smash.
Don't do it again. I can't. I can't.
Yeah, just a nope, nope. Just kidding. But we have a grasp on Seraphya as she's playing into a melee matchup. But this time it's actually the bot lane, maybe at least taking some damage. Yeah.
Not too much.
That is, yeah, that is I mean, Lulu with the shield out, that's just some good information gained. Not something that's unsurprising to be fair, but just so you know. Okay, this is the first time I'm really looking into Malphite jungle. But
yeah, I was gonna say we have the PTA, which I do know is because you can auto reset with the W. It does make sense, even though it looks weird. You don't want grasp because you're not fighting a lot. Comet isn't useful because you're maxing W. It's like kind of the best you can get in your rune.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense. I didn't really look into. To be fair, there's still sometimes junglers, but I would say junglers who can fight more to take grasp, like Skana. But yeah, it actually makes sense. I was just thinking maybe in competitive, because Malphite probably is still not a jungler we commonly see in competitive. I actually get me curious because maybe they played it in like the Magia Cup or Casper Cup, which I kind of doubt. But I could see in competitive you might want to also still look into other stuff like Spellbook, for example. Yeah, okay, it wasn't picked. Yeah. Not surprising. But yeah, I mean, it still makes sense, and I guess you also want to add some more damage.
It helps the rest of your team do damage is the big thing.
For sure.
For people who have not kept up, because I think a lot of people miss the changes, like press the attack does not amplify your own damage anymore. It amplifies the amount of damage that person takes. So that is...
No, actually, I think it's the other way around. Before you amplify the damage, and now it's only your damage. As we have a kill on bot lane.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Well, ignore me because I don't know what I'm talking about because we have bot lane already going really, really well for Seraphya, getting that first blood onto the Lulu.
Yeah, and that's obviously massive. And in a lane like this, you're not even laning into like an engaged support where it also should be fairly easy to, you know, like do these kind of things. You're laning into another lane that kind of wants to just scale up. So with you just having the stronger lane, you're just starving them completely. Although later on that Aphelios DPS with the Lulu will still be massive, but for now, they are just suffering. They're gonna keep suffering, and with this first blood, it's just gonna get worse and worse as well.
Do have some fighting here in the top side. Both these top laners have been brawling bit by bit, but this is very much a lane that we would expect as a hen to have control over. The healing, the ability to fight is just stronger. Scion is looking to be that big meat wall in the later portions of this game.
Then again, Poppy is topside. There's a ward placed, but this is getting dangerous. Oh!
The Flash doesn't get the kill, and in comes Poppy trying to save the day. Steadfast presence used. Tries to go in, doesn't get the wall stun, and I think Starry specifically was trying to avoid the stun, get the heal, and try and get out, but not enough in the tank to do so, so that will be a kill going over to Poppy.
Yeah, Starry having a bit too much fun here on top lane. Fine execute, obviously, faster recall, making sure you push the wave and zone Starry away. That's a huge wave crashed, actually. That's massive. Anyway, talking about top lane, in a competitive competitive setup, this was really a risky play for her to make. I mean, even Sudoku actually shouldn't do this. But Stereo's playing very, very aggressive, used the flash in the lane early on. We didn't see that actually, we only saw Cyan flashing, but that was before that. And with that information and your own Malphite, I mean Malphite anyway, useless P46, but Malphite pathing towards bot lane, Poppy pathing towards top lane, at that moment that gave an easy kill for the Poppy, who even if she couldn't have reached that's the hand by walking up, could have still flashed it, still had that flash available, so that was a safe kill anyway. And it's of course great to depressure that lane as well, and with this, they're already starting off with 2 kills early on.
Ooh. They were looking for that in the mid lane, and Momoi's there. They actually might still try and go for it. Actually, not going to get in. Poppy's just going to push that Galio away. And it will be a wash for both sides here. Not a wash in the bot lane, though, as we are seeing this Lulu struggle still.
Yeah.
And as expected, Lulu does not enjoy poke lanes very much, but it is really difficult here.
Yeah, but the good news here is if we look at the CS, the wave is still getting pushed in, so Aphelios now will pick some up, so now we can look at the CS. It is almost even. Okay, yes, you gave up a kill to the support, to the Seraphine. That is not the greatest. But actually, if you look at this double range lane, you would expect them to really starve that Aphelios out of CS. Instead, now we just had a 3 CS difference, and that's it. And that is actually crazy and very, very good news for Knopfenklipper.
Starry in the top side having a rough time. Cyan ult used, does get the damage, even if it's not the threat there. Now going to use the ultimate, and here comes the extra healing and try to get back around. There's no mana on this Scion, and we might see Starry get a kill in return. Has the revive here as well, and is just going to proc it to stay alive and waste out the Scion passive here. Will survive, and that is a solo kill for Starry.
Yeah, Sarah felt a bit too overconfident. Oh, look at that.
Flash engage onto this Lux. They want the kill. Flash forward by Nakatopa, but they're not going to get the kill. The slows now coming in. Big double bind by Mimi, who is still under tower here. The damage almost killing the Lulu. Will finally get the kill though. Nakatopa with the ult, and Aphelios able to get on the board just barely.
Yeah. So close, so close. They actually lined them up perfectly, but the Lux wasn't level 6 yet, and instead suddenly they get punished again! Oh my! Nah, that is a table smash moment. Oh my god, if
The
Mimi
Comet-
right here...
I thought the Comet was going to kill.
Yeah.
I thought the Comet was going to kill. Mimi trying to pressure alone here. Misses the binding. Might get soloed here by the Lulu. Is Smolder all on the top side. Seraphya not able to get that. And the first dragon going to go over to Black Lion.
Damn, that was crazy. Everything, really everything going the way of Black Lion. And that was like 2 members with just 10 HP, just surviving, just like that. That is obviously very, very frustrating, but that means they're getting 2 kills back on the side of Black Lion, and they're getting this dragon. Although they're losing a wave on bot side, Lux suddenly has a 20 CS lead as well, and Grubs are going over to Seraphia. So even though on the screen it looked like everything was going for them, Seraphia still got a good amount out of it, but it just felt like they could have gotten so much more. And that means we still have a very, very close game. Also looking at the feat of strength, the next kill is going to decide who's going to get the kill point. And then both teams each have 1 objective as well. The gold is very close to even still. So we have another game that's, it's probably going to be a long banger. But I'm kind of hoping, because of how the games have been going so far, that Seraphia picks up the win. Just out of the reason that I want more games of this, and it seems like we're gonna keep having just very, very close games between those teams, and I think that's something. If you would have just looked at the bracket and the domination of Black Lion throughout all stages, you wouldn't have expected. But
Hmm.
Seraphya, they're putting up a really huge fight.
We phrased it as David versus Goliath, and right now David is putting up a fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Goliath got the first victory, but it was not clean. It was not easy in any stretch
Indeed.
of the imagination. And we also do have to keep in mind here this smolder is going to continue to stack here time after time. I'm actually curious what we're at in terms of smolder stacks here, because that is a massive breaking point for this game.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, Smolder stacks probably very, very high. I remember last time Seraphia played it. I actually got a lot of stacks, and they might face Jack.
Whoop. They're gonna go in. They only hit the ult onto the Seraphine. Polymorph used as well to just stop the possibility of that ult, but they go a little bit too far forward. Nagadoba does not have the front line for that, and it'll be a 1-for-1 trade. Most importantly, it's a support in favor of an AD carry that gives a bit more of a win, I think, here to Seraphia.
Yes, but at the same time, Black Lion also got the feature strength points, so now they just need to pick up enough objectives or the turret, because they got the first kill here. But I really like the combo. We had the unstoppable force into wild growth, and that's a double knockup. Actually pretty cool to see that interaction with the Malphite Lulu, and they want to go for more.
Looking to come back here, because in comes Nakantupa again, back from the dead. As now Sacrifice having to flash away. Poppy ult pushes away that damage though, and Alakamita is left alone, has to flash under the tower, but not enough. Nakantupa now showing up, putting out damage onto the Poppy, but can't get the kill. It's 1-for-1, as we do see Mimi is gone. And now they're going to try and get this kill on the Seraphine. Again, ultimate use. Can't land the Q on the long-range gun. And that is unfortunate here, as top lane might be a bit of a dive, as there will be the kill for Starry. Very easy, utilizing that revive passive.
Yeah, it really feels like that the one fight Casara was forcing into Starry was a bit too risky, because you also need to think about the long term as a fight breaking out in mid lane, but I think nothing more is happening. Yeah, okay, that's
122
fine.
stacks, by the way. When I call that out while we have it.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Indeed. Seraphia is doing really well on that Smolder. Did it last time as well. I think, actually, the last time she had the full stacks at 17 minutes, which was crazy. Or not full stacks, but the stacks for the execute.
And the smolding point,
that is massive.
as I like to call
exactly.
it.
Exactly. But anyway, going back to top lane and talking about the matchup, I think this is kind of the matchup where if you get a kill, like a Sion, Sion will not care as much. We'll still be fine in lane, because Sion never really has a big kill threat. But if Sion gets a kill, that might be enough to snowball this whole matchup.
Lots of damage. Flash having to be burned as well. All the summoners utilized by Nakantupa to stay alive. And we said how rough this lane is going to be. And that is a perfect encapsulation of that. As now we're going to see Poppy caught out. Mamui needs a little bit of extra help, and going to get that in the form of Seraphia, who has shown up maybe in a little bit of trouble. Gonna just engage onto the Poppy Polymorph after the Unstoppable Force, but they don't get the kill. Now going on to Seraphia, as they don't have their damage threat here.
Yeah.
The Aphelios is not in this fight. They're still putting out a lot, though, because they can't kill Alchemita. Big Lux ult coming in as the Galio flies in, but only to a dead rock, as Mamui finally falls down. Teleport being used, and in comes Nakantupa to knock on the door and seal the deaths of a couple more members of Seraphia. It is a 4-for-1 in favor of Black Lion.
Yeah, massive teleport here to make sure you have no way to exit as well. Really, really good fight, catching them out in river, and just keep on buying time to make sure that Aphelios can enter too. And you also could see why fight jungle with PTA is dishing out a lot of damage, because they were lacking kind of damage. They were lacking the main damage source, which obviously is the Aphelios, but that Malphite was still hitting very, very hard. And that might also mean we're gonna get the first blood turret here for
Yep.
the Philios as well. And it's the feat of strength on the sort of Black Lion. And yeah, at this point, this is where it kind of starts to become very, very hard for the side of Seraphia. And it's all about chilling, getting the smolder stack, having Sign in your fights with a good front line, and hoping that Black Line, that they force to engage, because Black Line, right now, the pressure is really off them, because they can play proactive, they can be at the objectives first, they can stack for Soul now, get all the objectives they want, while, yeah, I mean, for Seraphia's side, the main engage is going to be the Sign, who's kind of glued to side lane by Zahen all the time.
Exactly. Yeah. The Zahen is threatening enough that you can't just leave Zahen alone. The push will be very good. Has the auto attack resets to really just put out a lot, and the Triforce as well, just for more damage on these towers and more damage in the trades. Gotta see Rift Herald being taken by Black Lion as they have secured almost all of these objectives. The only thing going in favor
Yeah.
of Seraphia has been those grubs, and they couldn't even get the first tower to help with that.
Yeah, indeed.
Oh, Kazera might be in trouble. Nope, just gonna walk away there. That's Scion, baby.
Yeah. Sign pretty tanky
Scion
also.
gaming.
I also like in the info and where the rest is just happy. Like, come on, we are under control. We got the Herald, we got another turret. That is enough. Sometimes, like, it's really important to sometimes be like, yeah, okay, kills. It's often what people talk about, but to say, okay, we actually got a lot on this map. We got objectives, really key, because that's what you play for, and really good discipline here to make sure to not go for it.
Lots of damage put onto the Lulu, who doesn't have the ability to help just yet. Now going a little close to the tower, but not control, but not tanking it just yet. But now in trouble as the rest of the team is coming around. Big ult there from the Galio to keep this Aphelios alive. Nakatopa hit by the knockup though, and that's a shutdown for Seraphina. The Smolder has finally gotten a kill, and Smolder's still hitting. They can't get on to Seraphia, who is going to almost get another kill onto the Lulu, but it is a massive turnaround and a massive bit of
What?
Did
Oh
Seraphia,
my!
did she get the execute and it burned?
I have no clue how.
Oh
that
my
really
god, how many
does.
stacks
Yeah.
is this Smolder at?
Anyway,
We'll
let's
get to
look
that.
at the fight again. I mean, very beautiful ult, and then look at the flash of Mimi. Immediately flashing out of the unstoppable force. The Poppy blocking the Galio engage as well, and at this point, all the engage is gone for the side of Black Lion, and now Seraphia's team can just play out the fight beautifully. And let's look at how Lulu actually dies.
Oh my god.
Oh my! Oh,
It just literally
that was the red buff.
that was the
Q
red buff
connected and the
off
red
of
buff. Yeah, the Q connected, so it applies the red
splashing.
buff.
The Q splashing.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my god, because we don't have the execute yet. Yeah, no, that was literally red buff splashing off of the Q on Galio. That is crazy. As now Alakimita in a little bit of trouble, and they're giving Smolder all the time in the world, but Smolder does not have a lot of mana for this fight, and that is a very juicy double bind. Now we're getting those kills. Now the damage is hitting, and the kills aren't going on to Smolder, but Smolder's still getting stacks nonetheless.
Yes.
And Seraphia have woken up and come back alive in this game.
Yeah, that is massive. I mean, they're playing the fights very, very well. They also are like really aware of when Black Lion, when is their window to play and when not, because the unstoppable force, as long as that one is down, that's the main engage tool. You can just play out the game with your range, with your damage, with your CC, and make it really easy for yourself. And that's exactly what is happening.
How scary it is for Nakatopa. Can't stay under the tower even.
Wow.
And that is a kill for the Smolder. It said solo kill. I swear Mimi's ultimate was a little more impactful than it shows there. But Seraphia now 3-1 on the Smolder, and we're also very close
Yeah.
to that execution for the Smolder. Should be unlocked fairly shortly.
Should be now, on this wave. Now she has it, I'm pretty sure. If we check the small again, because the last time we checked, she was at 221. I think with this wave, she got it. It's gonna go for the recall. Has to teleport, Dragon about to spawn, but she will have to execute now for this fight.
Yeah, 226. We are past the smolding point. And now we are looking at Dragon spawning just now. And this is now a smolder that is threatening 20 minutes into the game, which is fairly quickly, all things considered. It is a smolder into a melee mid lane matchup, so that does make a lot of sense. Dragon going to just be taken for free off of the TP used by Seraphia. So they are just going to clear the wave and do the best they can. But that is now, that is sole point for Black Lion.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, that was kind of the issue. Oh!
Forcing the flash here from Knockin' Buzz. Lulu ult used as well, and this Aphelios obviously can put out a lot of damage, but the positioning has caused a lot of problems.
But now look at the minimap. They know that Starry was over pushing, so maybe they can find a turn on her.
Oh my god, what a flash by Seraphia.
Ooh.
Gets away from the unstoppable force, and now the Galio hitting the taunt onto the Seraphine, and Seraphine will go down, but now Seraphia left alone to try and win this fight alone, getting hit by the taunt. Look how much damage is burning away. The Galio can't stop the smolder, and Seraphia is just whittling away at the health bars of Black Lion.
Yeah, that's kind of the issue when you don't have that engage option anymore. Seraphia just knows she can just put out all this damage, and she's not really threatened, especially because the Smolder with the Spear of Shojin and the Black Cleaver is quite tanky as well. So it's very hard to one-shot without the Aphelios. It gets even harder. There's Galio and Malphite. They still have a decent amount of damage, but not enough to kill a Smolder who still has some extra mobility. And the shielding that gets added by the Lux and Seraphine, very supportive all around the Smolder. And it's gonna be really like Seraphia to pull off a really strong performance here. And she's definitely doing it already. Has the stacks now. Let's see if she can keep it up, because you can't really allow yourself any mistakes anymore. Your enemy is on soul point. As soon as you do this one mistake, that might mean Black Lion gets soul, might mean they get Atakan, that might mean they get Baron when it spawns. So yeah, gotta be very, very careful.
Right now we're gonna see the Otacon being focused at the moment. Both teams are obviously wanting to get involved on this, but it is difficult. Look at how Starry is able to just play this. Ignore the Scion, clear the wave, get the tower, and that is kind of the big threat here, because you can see the damage is really threatening from this Smolder. Now, CC, as Smolder hits across a bunch, they have the redemption as well, and Smolder's been able to reposition, stay alive, and now Seraphia is just walking through the team. The HP bars can't stay up, and Black Lion have to back away again.
Indeed, and they're very undisciplined right now. They need to respect who is your carry, who has the main damage. And then it's the Aphelios. But at the start of the fight, that Aphelios was still far away. We had that earlier already. And it's happening over and over and over again. And that is giving that Smolder angles to dish out all the damage. Because yes, you might have gotten the engage onto the Smolder. This Smolder can't move. But you don't have the damage to actually kill the Smolder.
Yeah, especially through a Lux shield, a Seraphine shield, a redemption on the Seraphine as well. They recognize what their win condition is. It is keep the Smolder alive, and they are using every single tool in their pocket to do so. It is very difficult, and it almost feels like the split push from Starry is the best option that they have.
Indeed, and I think it's time for Black Lion to really take a step back, look at how the game is going, and accept that. Because Starry, honestly, she keeps taking turrets on the side lane. She took the inner turret on top lane. That is very key, because from now on, you always are threatening the inhib turret, and with this also the inhib, if you take it down. And that means you don't even need to force a fight. You don't need to engage onto that smaller. You don't have that kind of pressure on yourself. You are on soul point. Starry keeps on split pushing. It is Seraphia and her team who are under pressure. So you should play like this. So let's see if they can adapt this. Because right now, honestly, they're still kind of in this driver's seat as the dragon is spawning. And Starry has teleport, but keeps on pushing, so they need to do this fast.
Oh my god. Smolder damage using the Alta as well, and it is a lot onto the Lulu, but the Lulu can play back. The Lulu does not have to be in these fights. The HP bar of Lulu is very deceptive in how much it matters. But Starry in that backline looking for the engage, and now the big scary thing here is you've got to hit the CC onto Smolder, and you have to get Nakantupa to hit a lot of damage through the rest of everybody else. Lots of CC being put down. There is the ultimate there, as now we're seeing the engage. Big to a bunch, and unfortunately, Nakantupa does not feel safe to get into this fight. Will fall, and Smolder still left alive, but pushed out very low HP, now getting into that back line, but Seraphia is still alive. No! Starry couldn't get the kill, but the Smolder doesn't have the ability to stay in the fight. It is just tanks left here smacking each other, doing near zero damage. There is nothing for me to cast here. I'm gonna be so honest with you.
Yeah.
There's nothing happening. It looks like there is, but there is nothing.
Oh, wow. I mean, the most important thing out of this fight is this, that the Drake went over to Seraphia's side. We can look at it again. One important thing is here that Starry is just getting free stacks on that sign, which means she's engaging in when she's about to get the revive, and it's very, very hard to kill her. Burst coming through Lux ult with the Seraphine charm, making sure you kill the Lulu right away, and Knochentuber can't really play this game. Sign also making sure that you finish off the kill on the Aphelios after all the damage was done. But the issue is now, finally, you get a good team fight where you are in the middle of the backline without tools anymore, and you have your Zahan, who's also still outside of the Aphelios, a big damage threat. Starry was just never in the fights. Now she is, and you can see that Seraphia has a very, very hard time killing that Zahan, and that's going to be a problem because Zahan also on top of that, after the fight was done, took an inner turret on bot lane as well. So that's a double threat. Either you go for the split push, or in the team fight, that Zahan is just going to be a monster as well. And that's something, even though for now you delayed that soul, it's going to be another pressure point on to Seraphia.
I did. So there's a couple of things going on in my brain right now because I've seen both of the mid laners builds, and I realized that the Smolder is building an Overlord's Bloodmail. So
Yeah.
that is going to be very, because it's just the stacks. You just need the stacks. If you're able to stay, yeah, you could build beefy with Smolder, because as long as you're building the stacks and there is the Overlord's Bloodmail completed. Also, have a Rift Maker on the Galio, which I was not expecting. I have not been following Galio builds, to be fair, but I was not expecting a Rift Maker on the Galio.
It is usually the second item right now, because you build a lot of HP items. I mean, to be fair, you can build like Hollow Radiance, Hextech Rocket Belt, I would say Rod of Ages. It's still not uncommon, but it's more rarely that you see that one. But it's all HP items, and then Rift Maker, I mean, it gives you Omnivamp because you have extended fight and a bit more AP on the HP. And I think it's kind of like, you don't see Omnivamp a lot because there's not a lot of AP champs who kind of want to go a build like Galio goes. I would think there are a few others who like to go Rift Maker, but I couldn't even think of which champs. I know they exist. I just don't remember which ones.
Like,
but yeah.
if Lilia didn't have better items, like
yeah.
she could consider it, but like, yeah, no, it's I'm just always surprised to see Riftmaker. It kind of it is a forgotten about item. Oh my good golly gosh! Having to use the flash almost. Yeah, that was a flash that was needed.
Yeah, exactly. Else that Lulu actually would have been dead. Well, with this though, Lulu's flash down. It's not the most important summoner because Lulu right now more to just protect the carries. If you catch her again while trying to take a vision, especially if she's alone, you can punish that obviously, but else doesn't really matter. What matters here right now is that we have Dragon spawning in a minute. You see Zahan having teleport and pushing into top lane, spotted on the ward, so they know Starry is going for it, and maybe they're even gonna trap her.
Seeing Starry getting caught out, the teleport in behind, but can Starry get away? Doesn't get the stun now, but Starry can't get away, and there's so much CC. Ooh. Mimi is the one that gets the kill, but the important thing is that Starry is gone.
Yeah, and on top of that, Eevee actually used to teleport towards top side, but I actually think they want to go back towards the dragon.
That is Lulu gone. There's the flash gone being a problem, and that's a double kill going over to the Smolder as Seraphya is just undeniable for these kills.
Yeah, indeed. And that Smolder is just massive in this game, and they keep going.
They're gonna continue onwards, forcing another flash. It is not looking good for Black Lion right now, as they are just going to go under the tower. And look at what Seraphia could do. Could just stay under the tower and just fry this Galio.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, they are tanks, so it looks a bit funny because she keeps on hitting. But all the damage stacked up deals a lot. As Poppy is alone on the dragon. Holo, is it?
Excuse
me.
Oh no! Dragon is what the Black Lions will say, and there is no Smolder yet for this fight. Mamui is able to stay alive. Galio's now flying in, but the damage is already done, and they don't have Aphelios for this fight. So Smolder is just wiping the floor right now. Will turn around onto Starry. A lot of damage put down onto the Smolder. They're so close to getting Seraphia gone, but they can't get the kill, and the Smolder is still alive. It is 3 for 2 in favor of Seraphia, but they now swap that into a 3 for 3. Can the Aphelios get into the Smolder safely is the big question, and I don't know if the answer is yes. Are we going to see the teleport out? And we will! Seraphia with the heads-up play to get out.
Yeah, indeed. 3 for 3, but the soul is going over to Black Lion. Starry here also takes the third inner turret down too. Might actually die though. I think she's gonna get out. Yeah, she should safely get out here. There's also no teleport available. Actually, Lux has teleport, but shouldn't teleport in from behind. But yeah, you kind of left your Poppy with that dragon unattended, and that means that they can just walk in. Like, Starry TP'd in and was like, hey, that Poppy, we're seeing everyone else. That Poppy is alone on the dragon. That's our chance to take the soul for us. And that obviously was a massive mistake. They tried to do a bit too much on the map, and that allowed Black Lion to get soul. And that could be the deciding mistake that puts Black Lion back into the game and to potentially lead this series 2-0. But Seraphia now starting at the Baron. Yeah. They know they're under pressure.
Ooh, that is so risky to just go over the wall like that, and they don't go for the engage because they don't have the damage here yet. Nakatopa already taken down to 2/3 HP, and now big unstoppable force. Galio coming in as well, but Seraphia gets out of the Galio ult beforehand. Can they get into that backline? And Smolder getting a lot of damage now, having to back away just a little bit, but not enough. A triple kill as Seraphia is unstoppable right now.
Yeah, I want to look at that fight again because it was a very quick fight, but that was a very beautiful combination of ultimates yet again. Because normally your issue is Starry. They right now they really are struggling to deal all that damage to Starry. Oh, and they will
437 stacks is crazy.
Yeah, that's really crazy. But you look. Okay, line, well, we're getting the engage, and now Starry here on the side coming in, but she might be a problem to deal with. And if you hit such a Seraphine ult, charming 4 people, where the Smolder can hit the full AoE damage and get all these executes.
Oh, it's not looking good here. There's the revive. They actually
Oh
mistimed it, and
no!
that's a huge mistake there, as Starry's able to turn around a fight that should have been all for Seraphia. The Smolder is not here for this fight. Smolder's just back at the base now, and they might actually get another kill. There is Starry getting a little bit further in, and the kill was actually going to go over to the Lulu of all things. Smolder ult not going to land, and Seraphia left alone until Poppy can get back here. Baron will stall this push a little bit, but now, without the rest of the team to keep the Smolder alive, things get a little scary.
Yeah, indeed. And this is a huge mistake. The timing completely off, which means Sahan is not gonna get CC'd. Already had the kill that was falling on the Seraphine while we were still in the replay, and then got a second on the Lux, and then the third on the Sign. 3 kills coming through here out of nowhere. While Seraphia got this really key Baron, because yes, okay, they got 4 kills, but the really key thing was for them earlier to get this Baron, to use this Baron to tear open the base, because they are still, well, having the soul on the enemy side, and the San, it puts them under a lot of pressure because of the side lane threat, and on top of that also because they really can't kill the Sahan. So them getting this miracle team fight where everyone else lines up for you, so you kind of can ignore the Sahan for a while, that was a dream come true for them. That is what got them the Baron, and then from there you need to open up the map, and if you can't, I think this is still looking very, very bad for you, because Black Lion, especially Starry, such a huge threat to, well, destroy everything for that Smolder.
I mean, like, it is legitimately, this is Seraphia's game to win or lose, it feels like, and I mean Seraphia the player. Because how,
Indeed.
genuinely, if she's able to stay alive and hit her buttons, it's free. If she goes down, the entire team falls apart around her. I am just kind of keeping my eyes on this Smolder at all times.
Yeah, indeed. But at the same time, we even have that on the other side, on Black Lion. Starry, really, really strong game from her. She also was the leading charge to get that soul and punish that Poppy.
Big ult from Mimi to put some damage down.
Yeah.
And we have the Elder Dragon spawning here, and this might be where the soul being taken so early by Black Lion might come back to bite them, because now a game-ending threat has been put on the table for
use the
Seraphia.
sweeper, please. Use the sweeper. That could have been risky.
Yeah. Could have been very risky. Poppy actually pushing the Galio away from the fight, but now they're going to continue onwards. Lulu ult used on the Galio, not where you want it, and there's another big Lux ult. Now in comes the Sahen. They get a big burst of CC, and they get the kill, though. No, Seraphia are still healthy, still alive. It's a quadra kill for Seraphia. Will it be the pentakill? It will! Pentakill for Seraphia, and they'll march into the base to even up this series.
And what a game from Seraphia, but also credits here to the Poppy. That was a massive ult, because you win fights if Sahen is not in your team, and that Poppy ult made sure that Seraphia can fully clean up house, and that's exactly what she did. Pentakill for the Smolder, 18-1-7.
496 stacks at the end of that. We almost had 500 Smolder stacks. I have never seen that many stacks on a Smolder before.
Yeah.
That was disgusting.
Crazy. Crazy, crazy. But it also means Black Lion has been handed their first loss in this tournament.
Yeah. Their first loss at all, right? Like, just incredible stuff. And Sarah, again, I know I've harped on it a little bit, but Seraphia were in groups and they were struggling to get out of groups. They were struggling to get a win in groups. And now they're not only in the finals, they're not only putting up a fight, they have taken a game decidedly here. As we look at the damage chart, 75,000 damage by this smolder. And the gold graph really does tell the story of this game of, yeah, as soon as that smolder hit that break point around 20 minutes, there was no turning back. It was very, very hard for Black Lions to even do anything in that game.
Yeah, 75k damage. That is massive. Like, even because you also are playing with a Lux, who's also a champ with a lot of burst, but also
Yeah.
consistent poke damage too. So normally that should also be off the charge. That just shows how massive that smaller damage is.
You also want to put it in comparison to the Aphelios specifically too, because that's supposed to be the 280 carries on that team.
Yeah.
It was like 18,000 damage for the Aphelios. That was
Yeah.
it literally like a 50,000 damage difference in those
Indeed.
carries, and that just comes from not being able to CC that smolder with the damage in threat to be able to actually do something about it.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, what a performance! Like, this is, well, at least the bright side for Black Lion, to be honest, is the Smolder's out. It is
The
fearless.
smolder is gone,
So
yeah.
that seems to be this huge pick for Seraphya, where she can just 1v9. The previous game in Castle with her playing Smolder was also her. Playing like crazy. I mean, still credits to her team though. Those were some really good Lux ults that always allowed to keep the Lulu and Aphelios out of the fight. And also the Poppy ult in the final fight, huge. A lot of really nicely placed Seraphine ults as well. It's obviously not just Seraphia carrying the whole game. It was just everyone else in the team playing super well to give her that space to dish out all this damage too.
Yeah, very, very well understood and well played composition. But that composition cannot come back because we are playing Fearless, and that is now 1-1 across the board. We're going to go to a quick break as we get ready for game number 3. All right, welcome back, everybody. Game number 3 about to get underway, but we have a series on our hands. What we might have thought would be a 2-0 at this point in favor of Black Lions has turned into a 1-1 after a dominant Smolder game from Seraphia. As we take a look once again here, and you can see, yeah, 16k damage from this Aphelios, 75k from this Smolder.
Yeah.
That is a gulf of a difference.
Yeah, indeed, and I mean, it's actually funny even that Malphite has slightly more damage than the Aphelios. But generally, this is also the reason why in competitive you don't really see Aphelios even very late into the even late into the draft. And this was an R1 R2 Aphelios. I think it was combined with it was combined with the Sahan. And the issue is that Aphelios has a very big problem. No matter what support you pick, you will suffer into range. And Seraphia figured that out very quickly. They still picked the Smolder as well, and then later on they locked in Lux and Seraphine. And then on top of everything, they have this flexibility. So now, Black Lion, you want to pick Galliard? Well, we don't really care. We moved that Smolder mid lane, which actually was even beneficial looking at the whole performance from Seraphia. But they had this flexibility. They had the long range to deal with the Aphelios as well to make sure that Aphelios is completely useless too in that game. Because, yes, okay, it might look really bad for Knochentulpe, but to be honest, this is really unplayable for any Aphelios.
Yeah. I also think like it's really important to mention just like how crucial flexibility like that is in stuff like the Fearless format, because you're getting one chance to play those champions. Not only are you taking them off the board, but you're putting them in ideal situations, right? Like when you're looking at Fearless, you got to get the most out of a champion in every game. that you have them in, because you get one shot to use them. And I think that was pretty much the ideal composition, the ideal slots you could put those champions in. As now we're
Indeed.
going into a new game, gonna see our bands stay fairly similar. I think the Yunara is a new one, but the Vi and Gwen have been pretty consistent from Seraphia.
Actually, I think the Vi was only a
Vi
ban
was-
in that game 1. In game 2,
Gotcha.
it wasn't banned. So this one might be specific. They're looking like there could be something the first champ that comes to mind that actually made Vi literally matter to counter that OP champ would be Zeri. But it could be any kind of champ that just doesn't want to get a point and click CC on their face. And it's probably what they're looking to be won. Yeah, that would make sense.
Huh. Yeah, Mel has been one of their bans as well. So we're going to get the Mel first pick likely here. Silas taken away as well. So even though that Malphite is gone, still don't want to run the risk of a Silas. They still have very clearly want to have the ability to pick game-changing ultimates here. Cataclysm, though, might be coming around the other side as Black Lions currently hovering that Jarvan, which is a solid first pick for any composition.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. If you see Mel, you have two options. Either you go hard engage, and I think that's what Black Lions is good at, or you do the route that Seraphia was going last game. You pick high range as well, because Mel is also not the highest range champion either. But in this case, Black Lion full on engage, Kai'Sa as well, making sure you can follow up on CC. And we might finally see an engage support. We have seen Soraka, Seraphine, Milio, and Lulu. We have had full on Enchanter supports, but now I think it's time to see either Rel, Nautilus, or Leona. Probably Rel or Nautilus. Well, Seraphia now has the chance to answer into that Kai'Sa.
And there's that Zeri you mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, that makes perfect sense.
Oh.
Zeri Lulu. Huh.
It's Zeri Yumi.
Yumi, my bad. But yeah, Zeri Yumi. I mean, okay, another enchanter. But it also makes perfect sense because right now Seraphia already sees, okay, Black Lion, they want to commit for the engage. So, price a bit more interesting. I'm surprised by that one. But it also can free scale into Mel and be a threat in the side lane. So the question is, does Seraphia still like a top laner who can answer the rise later on? Because Mel for sure will not be able to. And now we're looking at the bans, and if I'm Seraphia here, especially with the Yumi locked in, I would look at support bans.
Absolutely, the engaged supports you want to take out. Leona is a solid option to take away. Also worth mentioning too, like, yeah, the Jarvan EQ is going to give a lot of just alone will give a lot of opportunity for the Kai'Sa to follow up as well.
Yeah,
because that is just really easy to utilize solid CC. Do see Ornn banned away by Black Lion. It's clear they want to take away these tank top laners to give Starry an opportunity to brawl it out, because they feel like she's capable of winning those fights.
Yeah, I mean, these are kind of interesting. These are also bans you would usually throw at Starry. But let's see, is it going to be just the Rel? I mean, if it would be like, if I would be Black Lion here, you still want to look for someone engaged, you just pick the Rel. Especially when you ban the Ornn and Mundabens, and we have another Enchanter pick. I mean, next game, surely. Next game, we're out of Enchanters, right? I mean, you probably can find a few more, but
I mean,
I'm not necessarily a bad pick, because it gives you some kind of engage and lane control, but it doesn't synergize that well with the Kai'Sa. And yeah, it is. There still has a lot of mobility as well. Ooh.
So this is okay. Lots of interesting things. One,
Yeah.
I think the fact that Karma was picked makes it clear they were going to pick that regardless. So those two support bans really did not do a whole lot for Seraphia. Two, the Cassante pick, we'll get to that. But the Cassante pick is very interesting, specifically because it is one of Starry's best champions. She is incredibly good on that I think it encapsulates what Starry is good at. Able to be a big wall, but also has really strong laning. And if there's anybody that I would know that knows how to beat a Cassante, it would be Starry picking up the Garen. But we also have another one of my favorite champions, Briar.
Yeah, I mean, Briar, a bit crazy here, but makes a lot of sense. You have a lot of champs like going into you, so it's, like they wanna run at you, and Briar kind of wants champs to optimally even run into your face, so you can keep chasing them down, heal yourself in your frenzy. So that makes a lot of sense. I think overall, Briar not the pick you see commonly in competitive, but if there's an angle, it might as well be this one. And Garen has really like R5 into Cassandra to counter it. It's something in Vitality Rising Beast we did a lot as well. So Garen here,
I,
interestingly, gonna be what summoner is gonna run, TP or
I
Ignite.
yeah, no, that is very interesting. I also think it's interesting too because like Briar's like one of Briar's like biggest weaknesses is just that CC, especially the CC
Yeah,
that is like strong
that is
because
true.
you have to aim it well. Because Briar just runs straight at you, it's very easy to aim. But you look at Black Lion's team, they've got really two, maybe three solid forms of CC. It is the Jarvan EQ, it is the Rise route, and it is the Karma route. And the Karma route is really solid because if you can, one of the things that I have seen just playing through Briar and playing against Briar, you can bait the Briar in if the Briar is focusing the Karma and just RW on the Karma and just waste a lot of her time
Yeah.
doing nothing. But outside of that, Briar does have a lot of capability to just jump on people and stay alive and just do what Briar does best.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, that is for sure a good Briar pick, and I like when you kind of like have these pocket picks and you can throw them in their face
Oh, yeah.
when you see there's a good spot in draft. This is absolutely one. And one more thing that, especially with the Garen pick, they're kind of lacking. It's not like they have no CC at all, but they have the Jarvan ult engage, but that's kind of it. And you're playing into you're playing into the Mel, which should be your primary target. But the Zeri is gonna have the Yumi on her back, deal a lot of damage and be very mobile, and that Kai'Sa is gonna have a hard time to actually properly ult in a lot of times, especially onto that Zeri, who's just gonna have the opportunity to run around that fight. So either you focus the Briar or you focus the Zeri with the Yumi on her back. What are you gonna do? And that is gonna be very tough for Black Lion.
It's again another composition that does not have a hard tank for Black Lion. They have foregone this every single game, and it doesn't seem like that is going to change throughout this series. They do not want to run tanks. They do not want the front line. Be it support, be it top lane, be it jungle. They want bruisers at the best. And they will have that here, and that's that's also partially just influencing their solo lane picks because you have Rise who gets pretty beefy, you have Kai'Sa who has that self peel. It's they're playing around it very well, but it is still at the end of the day really difficult if you get to a late game with a Mel and a Zeri.
Yeah, indeed. But at the same time, Black Lion, what they want to make it difficult for, like, Seraphia's side is playing side lanes. Again, Garen and Dryas, they will easily be able to like control that side lane later on. The Cassandra is just gonna be there to, well, neutralize, to catch some waves, but that's kind of it. So that's gonna still make it very hard for Seraphia and Black Lion. They know that is their strength. They have two strong solo laners in their team, and that's how they will play this one out. It is another thing though. When Black Lion, especially in game one, there was kind of the similar scenario. Although you had an Aatrox, which has a bit more agency to actually get kills back. How will Seraphia deal with the Rise and Garen? Because I could think that they're trying to push as many resources into their own solo lanes as possible, so Rise and Garen won't get too big of a lead, to ensure that later on they don't have to worry about them just tearing out their base while they're trying to take the third dragon.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really just curious because again, like I said, if there's anybody that I would expect to know how to beat Cassante in lane, because it's not an easy feat. Cassante that knows what they're doing. Cassante is a very difficult lane matchup because he's beefy, but also puts out a lot at the same time. If there's anybody that I think would know how to do it, it would be Starry here in the top lane as we do have those players in the wrong spot, so I'm sure
Yeah.
we'll swap them around in the scoreboard there. But the Garen running the teleport still is going to be very,
Uh,
very strong.
Whoops, misclick. My Kai'Sa doesn't have barrier anymore.
Oh yeah, of course. Why
Well,
would your Kai'Sa want barrier in the first 3
exactly.
minutes of the game?
Well, that has been accident. Happens, but they're still getting a really key ward here. And they're gonna keep scouting.
It's like when I come back to League after playing another game for a while, and I try to use WASD. You know, obviously, I guess that
Yeah.
joke doesn't work anymore because WASD is now an actual thing. Like, screw me, I guess.
Well, not in ranked yet, to be fair. So
Not in
actually,
ranked,
I
but
think
like,
it's only in normal games so far. I don't, not even in ARAM. I think so.
yeah, no, it's only in. I think it might only be in Swift play. It
Could
might
be.
only be in.
Could be.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't care. I'm not using it. It's not for me.
Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna judge to your face, but like it's an interesting choice.
For sure. For sure. Anyway, I mean, with the champ swap, one thing I was just thinking about, but I think it's kind of something that they generally, maybe it's not something they can. Actually, I'm not sure. Anyway, it will be something they Riot tries to stop doing anyway. But you could theoretically also decide sometimes to swap champions. You know, your AD carry on top lane. I mean, before obviously it was full on swaps, but since they have the anti-swap mechanic, that's not possible. But what you will see is, for example, that here in this game, maybe a Zeri could go top lane. But not the best with the Yumi, to be fair, but it's generally something to keep in mind. Could be interesting to see in some of these matchups where they pick like an annoying champ like Garen, but if you pick ranged into it, because you have an AD carry, you can send towards top lane that Garen can't play the early game. But in this case, we again have just very normal lanes and nothing like that.
I'm kind of there's a couple things that are catching my eye right now. One, we don't have barrier on the Zeri. We have Ghost because we have the heal and exhaust
Yeah.
on the Yumi, but still not running the barrier against something like a Garen is kind of interesting to note. Also have aftershock on the Cassante instead of the grasp. So very clearly not wanting to interact with this Garen.
Yeah, but I would say you still have a lot of opportunities to proc grasp, and I'd say even though, like in some champs where you feel like
Yeah.
you can't proc grasp that much early, if you read through generally how the rune works, because it's all like everything is based around your HP, even your healing is based around your HP. So the more HP you have, the more you heal. It is still a very, very OP rune in extended team fights, even if you didn't get that many stacks in your laning phase either, which is why sometimes you even see like grasp on Skana, even in like the highest competitive play, where in the early game you will barely see that Skana proc it.
Yeah, so interesting just to see the aftershock on the Cassante in lieu of that. But it is likely going to be outside of maybe our top lane and whatever our junglers decide to do, probably a fairly slow game, all things considered. Mid lane is looking to farm, bot lane is looking to farm
Yeah.
for right now. There's not going to be a lot of inherent action.
Yeah, indeed. I think the best they any team can do right now, that would be Blackline with the Jarvan mid lane gank if the wave is in a good position, followed up with the Rune Prison from Rise to get this chain CC going, or at least force out the flash. It probably would result in you forcing out the flash, but literally everyone on Seraphia's side, they just want to scale and not force a kill. Hold up.
Oh, they were not expecting the Jarvan there. What a
Oh.
the flash tries to follow there, Mimi.
Yeah.
That's Zeri, baby. That's what Zeri can do.
Oh, that is actually a flash traded, but it was a very nice flank by the job. Not expecting the job to appear in your own jungle, and using that opportunity to put some pressure onto Mimi here on that Zeri. It's still gonna be, yes, let's keep on farming and farming and farming, but now this might be a point where you maybe can set up for a dragon or an invade, or even just use the pressure you have to have the Karma roam towards mid lane and finally collapse onto that Mel. So let's see what they do out of this forced flash.
Yeah, it's they are just gonna take their back and get the early advantage on the push here, because we'll see the push from Mimi go back out towards the tower, but likely going to just head back to base and do the same here. So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it is a flash from the Garba for the heal of the Yuumi, which is, I think, a much better trade, honestly, for Seraphia. Mamui also still looking to have an impact here. This Briar can do a lot early, especially just in those kind of skirmishy type fights.
Now look at this, though. The Briar's top side, they know, because earlier, right before when Jarvan was looking to flank from Seraphia's own jungle, they put on a warded Raptors, which gave them the information. Okay, Briar, right now, after the Raptors are done, she's walking to top side. This dragon is absolutely free, and this might be the first early dragon of the series that is going over just like that. Where you're like, yep, not even gonna try here. We are just chilling, and yeah, that's what's happening. Dragon goes over, and both teams keep on scaling.
Yeah, it's finally seeing some of the really strong macro that these teams obviously have, being as good of players as they are. It has been a lot of brawling in these games, though. So seeing that early fighting, though, under the tower, and will cancel the self-taunt. That is forcing the flash out of Eevee.
Yeah, that's actually something I expected that Jarvan to do, but instead we have Briar just using the opportunity with Fry's positioning right behind that wall, flashing over, stunning up, and Eevee is just like, yep, nope, get me out of here. Very nice, and that is something now they can use, because I was thinking, hey, it is Jarvan who should force the flash and go for the regank. Now this Briar, who I think is gonna hit level 6 on the blue buff, as she's doing right now. And if you force a fight here, I think it's just Jarvan, to be honest, covering for Eevee. That could be a bit risky. But Briar actually didn't get level 6 yet. That Jarvan has a good farm lead. Recall interrupted. Drops about to spawn. This is quite solid news for that Briar, though. Oh, that's a lot of damage.
That's a lot of damage there, reflected onto the Karma. Tries to go for the engage, but can't get in. We'll just hop back over to those grubs, and I think realizes maybe doing grubs right now is a bad idea. We're gonna disengage off of that as Starry starts moving down. Now they're gonna restart it now with a little bit better positioning on the map.
And Briar, I think, might be one grab away from hitting level 6. Yeah, indeed. Has the level 6 now. Now that is massive. Now you could look for even a fight, because the Karma is 2.5 HP. Although Yuumi can't really move, which means they're deciding for now to just give up the grabs, because Eevee could return, always realm warp in. Denies the triple grab, though. That would have been a huge threat. 2 grabs already pretty bad to give over into Garen Rise, but it always could be worse. So taking this one grab, you're gonna be still very happy with.
I think this is good recognition too from Black Lions to say, hey, there's a Yuumi on the other team.
Yeah.
This Karma can move. This Karma can move
indeed,
a lot easier. Let's abuse that. Let's utilize that the best we can. And now Starry taking a lot of damage here. Doesn't get ulted under the. I thought the ult was gonna come out. I thought we were gonna hear the all out start up.
Yeah, but actually, in the end, nothing big happening here, and then Garen can just really easily clear the way from. Look at that. Yeah, it's pretty free. What can Cassandra do? And at some point, you're gonna get your passive again. Okay, quick auto attack to make sure Garen doesn't get to it, but at some point, Starry will get it long enough anyway to make sure she heals up all the damage she has just taken from the turret. And that's why it's so unplayable for the Cassandra, because you can never really get to a kill angle, while when you go around, the Garen can actually look for an all-in himself. And Starry here, she is having that 30 CS lead, massive lane control on her side, and the Cassandra just suffering and knowing later on, I'm just gonna be there to either neutralize the side lane or to peel for my carries in fights.
That is a big chunk of damage onto the tower. The Starry is now just going to proxy farm, knowing that the jungler is bot side. You know what?
Yeah.
You can't stop me from doing this. Let's just take more and more. And this could become a very big problem. Bryral, I don't think that wanted to hit.
That was
Actually,
a
I don't.
weird one, yeah.
That was okay. Yeah, no, I thought that was. I was like, oh, yeah, the Cassante was in danger there. And then I remembered that they're on the same team. I don't know where the Briar. It might have been trying to go mid.
Yeah.
Execute.
Garen looking for the execute, that's all fine. Playing a Singed level of game. But very happy with this one. Kind of, well, not necessarily a faster recall, but a safer way to get out of the situation. Not gonna give over a kill. Gives some breathing room to the Cassandra to now push in another wave and maybe even force the Garen TP. That's at least something, but overall, Starry here doing a very, very good job on the Garen. Is gonna use the TP. Gives TP advantage over to that Cassandra, because Cassandra now has the push. Actually, I'm not sure if this might get frozen now. It's not gonna get frozen, which means Cassandra has the push for now. But looking at the minimap right now, that Cassandra is gonna get interrupted. So never mind. This Cassandra probably will not have a TP advantage. Probably needs to use the TP to get back into lane, which means that Garen is still heavily having the control over that top side.
Root hit and a lot of damage utilized, but it's all just a bait because in comes the Briar and first blood used before the Realm Warp. And that will be going over to the Mel as expected. Dragon now looking to be started up, and surprisingly, Black Lion saying, hey, you don't have a Mel ult? Your jungler just went in here. We know that Briar doesn't have an ult, but they're just gonna go for the fight regardless into the pit. And that's a lot of damage onto the Dragon, getting lower and lower. Is in trouble because here comes Mimi, and the Dragon goes over to Seraphia's team, and Mimi is getting a bunch of kills. Gets the Kaisa down. In comes Starry, who does a lot of damage, but not before the Karma falls. And there is just a little kitty crying on the way home. Should be another kill for Starry, a double kill, but it is 3 for 2. Dragon going over for Seraphya.
Yeah, indeed. Wow. That's very, very well played, to be honest, by Seraphia's side, because they got so much out of this. They got the dragon. Okay, kills were 3 for 3. No, actually 2 for 3, because the one kill came out from the Briar earlier. But Cassandra also was able to actually push in some waves while Garen was trying to help the team win that fight. And yes, okay, they won that fight, but at what cost? Dragon is gone, Cassandra gets some farm. It is still very, very nicely played by Team Seraphia here. They can be, for sure, happy with this one.
Start plating falls. We hit the 14-minute mark. Again, this game very even across the board. Things gonna likely slow down until we get another objective to fight over, because we don't have Rift Herald for a while.
Yeah.
Or sorry, we don't have another top lane objective because the Baron is not going to be spawning for another 10 minutes. We don't have Otacon for a while yet.
It seems like right now they're moving this area towards mid lane, rotating back towards bot lane. Yeah, all around that top side, taking control. There's the spawn
There's Rift Herald.
Yeah.
I forget that the timer does not
No, it's
show.
15 minutes. Yeah.
I forget that it doesn't show right now because I think it used to, and it's
Uh,
been bugged
yeah,
for a
there
bit.
was. Yeah, I think it was. It would be nice to be honest, because honestly, you can put the rift. I mean, you should use the top right corner where you have the Baron. Like Riot should change it so you just have Grubs, then Herald, then Baron, because they can't be up on at the same time anyway. That would be much more appreciated, as they're gonna go for a crossmap player here on bot lane.
Gonna try and get this tower, maybe get some kills alongside it, but there's a lot being used. There's the
Ooh.
Mel ult, but that is a 1-for-1
No,
because
actually,
actually
one
no,
for
it's a
two.
two because the Yumi went down as well. I didn't even notice. And that could be a big problem as Mimi wants to make sure this wave crashes. Will force it under. Going for the tower is a second tower goes down in favor of Black Lions.
Yeah, and it's also the feat of strength for them because they got their third objective. They got that Herald as well. I mean, alright, she's dead.
Yeah, Mimi's dead. That's
Yeah,
Garen,
she's
baby.
dead. Oh,
Garen to
look
Briar
ahead though.
into the mid lane, just thrown down there. Has to use the E to cancel though, because that turret is still up. And I think
Yeah.
that's one of the funny things with Briar is like as these towers go down more and more, these Briar ults get more and more scary.
Yeah, indeed. But for now, this was actually very fine, and this is huge news for Black Lion because Seraphya. I mean, there's one thing you really gotta accept is that your comp is all kind of like a. I mean, yeah, okay, you have Briar who could go in, but overall you have a comp that wants to play at range that doesn't have the strongest engage. So cross map plays are really hard to pull off. You don't have that engage option. You can't really easily get onto that rise. And even though the cross-map play overall was a good idea, it would be if you aren't playing these kind of comps. But in this case, Eevee has a very easy time to just stay under this turret, defend herself, even CC someone who's trying to dive her, because there's not much CC to use on her to deny her from using that rune prison, and because of that, Black Lion got everything. They got the Herald on top side, they got 2 kills on bot side, and then even the third one when Mimi was overstaying and got taken on by Starry.
Dragon being prioritized right now by Seraphia as they are gaining control here. Gotta put some pressure out just to make sure. Hey, guys, back off. This dragon is ours, but maybe Starry has a little bit of something to say. The flank, Mimi has to walk forward now and has been able to get out, but in comes the flash, and Mimi still running for her life, can't survive. Meanwhile, Briar on a rampage right now, backs out because the HP was too low. Big hit there, can't get the kill, finally does, as we are now seeing another big win here for Seraphia.
Yeah.
They not only get all of that, but they're going to get the dragon as well.
Indeed. I mean, this is where their comp really shines. I actually think they could have even played it slightly better. Because something in that fight was engaging onto the Jarvan instead of protecting the Zeri. You kind of was just left on a lonesome. The Yumi is not enough to protect you from that Garen, but overall that gave everyone else enough space to dish out their damage. And well, Briar and Mel, they are still hitting very hard, and even the Zeri could deal a lot of damage before going down. And that was the key for them to take another dragon, getting closer to that soul point and winning a fight for them. That said, even though they're winning a fight and that's good for them and they have shown where the comp really shines, there needs to be more to come, because this Garen especially is so strong. Almost hitting the 10k mark at 20 minutes in, which is massive, 4-1 in kills, and took down this really key inner turret. So now Garen can just consistently, especially because there's not really a champ who can ever threaten the Garen in a 1v1, probably even not in the 1v2, even if Briar would join. That Garen can keep on pushing the top side and threaten an inhib turret, and if you let that one go, that means there's always gonna be an exposed inhib inhibitor for the rest of the game, which is why this is going to be now so key, which is why this Starry is going to be so happy right now with this inner turret she was just able to take, and which is why Black Lion still are more in control of this game.
I think that last fight also just does showcase really heavily how much the Garen can do against the Seri if you're not careful. The stride breaker forcing Mimi over the wall, then having to flash out of the way, go back the other direction. Mimi does have damage. Mimi is a threat on this Seri, but there is just not enough capability to put that damage out.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, if you have a Garen, especially with like such a massive amount of gold running at you and just pressing Q to silence you, to make sure you can't even dash, then E to just burst you down, and then you're like, oh, okay, no, it's fine. I still have a bit of edge. Oh, the macho!
Ooh, this is what I was a little worried about. Yeah, Starry's able to just take these towers.
He just takes it. So this is where the real pressure comes in, and this is why you wanted the Garen minimally in the lead and not this fast.
Yeah, Engage coming on the bot side here, and that will be a kill grabbed for Mel, but in the meantime, an inhibitor is going to fall in favor of Black Lions. Otacon still being fought over, and you can see Mel burning through mana right now, doesn't have a lot to contribute to this fight. The Nexus towers are being targeted here. Briar ult being used. They're going to go in. They have to win this fight, and they have to win it fast as they are getting pressured in their base, and they are going to lose the Briar. Cataclysm used on the Mel that has no mana. Me left now, has a little bit of help with the cap, but the cat not able to do enough, and still Starry is on these Nexus turrets. Another Demolish proc is going to take one of the Nexus turrets down.
Ooh. Yes! Nice! Get into the base.
TP? What? We're TPing into this? There's no minions!
Ooh. I think Evie thought that Sarah's gonna stay alive there, but that was a very nice knockback to knock the Garen into the base and get hit by that laser. That said, though, that's just should delay it inevitable. This Garen is unstoppable. Neither a Mel or Cassandra, or even multiple members of the team of Seraphya can do anything. Yeah.
Oh, that might have been a little bit too far there. Gonna get hit by the root from the Karma, but cannot follow it up enough, as Briar will have to back into the jungle and heal back up, because it's a little scary for Briar out here right now.
Indeed. And Seraphya's team really under pressure, and they need to just kind of, they need to kind of go in, but they don't really have a comp to go in. The only way to really engage into that team is the Briar. So the other option they have is to deal with that Garen, but if they're gonna try to deal with the Garen, they really need to send so many members that would also mean that, Black Lion can take anything else on the map, and the Atacon, it is on bot side. It actually is started as well. So, I think that's just gonna, there's no other option. You need to give that one over.
It's so difficult right now, as Otacon will be grabbed by Black Lions because the map is theirs at the moment. There is not a, you can't threaten this team at the moment, because as soon as you do, your base is in shambles.
Yeah, indeed. And then on top of that, you have Garen, who's very tanky, very slippery, also building the upgraded Swifties. And with that one, even when you try to get onto the Garen, you really like the CC to run it down. There's no way to take care of that Garen, but at the same time the Garen is pushing bot lane, meaning it's automatically pushing top lane. No way for you to ever do anything on the map. It's kind of like they're just kind of hoping, okay, and that's why they keep on fighting right now. They're catching waves, they're trying to scale up. They still have a solid amount of scaling, and the Zeri and the Mel will still deal a good amount of damage. They're kind of hoping that they can turtle their way through this game because this Baron, I think this one surely also is just gonna get given up. You can already see it in the map movement. They're actually looking at that Garen right now. We might even get engaged onto that Garen here. But they just want to scale and hope while they turtle, while the side of Seraphia is trying to end. That's when they do a mistake. Where the side of Black Lion trying to end. That's where they can catch them doing a mistake.
Exactly, yeah, and maybe they're going to try and find that right here because the Garen is pretty far forward. Briar has been used, and they have Mimi here as well. Going to try and just use a bunch here to get a kill, but there is, flashing over the wall. Mimi trying to get the kill, will now succeed, but Baron has been started up. It'll be a kill for the Baron, and I think Black Lion will take that every day of the week.
Yeah. And they knew that this could happen and they might cross map, but it's still a lot invested. That is a flash down for the Zeri, and Zeri already generally with all the movement speed and everything very mobile, but with a flash gone, that makes it easier to play fights as well. That makes it even easier for Starry when she respawns to just hit that R button on that Zeri again to make sure to take down one of these big carries. Seri is getting closer and closer to hit that third item. Actually got it now. That's the Infinity Edge done, which is a huge, huge power spike. Interestingly enough, I mean, I know there's a lot of healing, but I would not go for that, especially the completed item. But we can see that Knochentope finished the Morelos. So yeah, that actually got finished, which kind of at least is something Seraphia can use because it delays a bit of the power that Kaiser would have with another item completed.
As of right now, things are kind of stalling out right now, but again, all it takes is just another objective to show up, and that split push pressure becomes threatening. The fact there has already been a Nexus Tower taken in this game, at least makes it very clear, yeah, Garrett is just going to continue to do Garrett things. And look, they have to send everybody over there to deal with Starry, who is getting a little bit more HP back. Will grab the inhibitor before dying. And again, more minions thrown into the grinder of the tower. But now that's a good Briar ult as the EQ will go over the wall. And that is just going to be followed. Zarita is going to get that kill. And that's a big win there for Seraphia as they're going to continue to try and chase down. I don't think they're going to be able to get onto this. No, the Karma has to flash over the wall, and Briar will walk down the Karma. Rise left alone. Eevee splits away from Nakantulpa, and that will be another little bit of a win for Seraphina.
Yeah, indeed. That's no, never mind. Cassandra somehow dying. That's yeah, that is not good, but maybe they at least get a kill on Rise. Still has the rune present, never mind. There's no way they're gonna get onto the Rise. Even
the realm warp?
Actually?
Yeah. No,
she's going a bit too deep.
Ooh, big flash there. A flash over the wall there from Seraphia, but that does not matter. The Rise damage is threatening. And how does she stay alive, Eevee? The bleed! Not enough to kill. And there's that beefiness in the Rise coming in clutch. TP being used, that's going to be for the end. We have just a Yuumi and a Zeri here, and I don't think that's going to be enough to stop them. Demolish procs, don't even need them, as Starry might die to the tower. Nope, has the W for an extra shield. Cassante is here to try and save the day, but it doesn't matter. There's way too much damage, and Black Lion just completely pull Seraphia apart, just one side of the map to the other.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, this was just Garen Gaming, because in that draft, they really lacked Susi, they really lacked a champ that can even answer that Garen, and then even worse, throughout the game, Starry got extremely fat. There was just no way with this comp you could realistically ever answer that Garen. So that Seraphia even found an angle to almost, like maybe get back a bit into the game. was surprising. They fought well, but honestly, I think this draft was just impossible to win unless you get really
Yeah.
fat early on, which is already impossible to do with a comp that doesn't really have agency and looks to scale and play from range. So that means back to the drawing board. But the good news is, there's so many enchanters out, we might finally see engaged support spots, which I would really like. I think both teams already have shown they have a lot of potential to play around these champs as well. So yeah, I'm excited for game 4. But Black Lion, they're the favorites. They're up to 1. So now Seraphya, they really well, gotta bring the A game for the next game. Else this for sure will result in Black Lion just finishing this off.
It's interesting because I don't think the Briar was the issue in this. It's like
No,
obviously
no, no.
the Garen was the really strong point. They took the Cassante away from Starry, and it's very clear that that was not going to
Yeah.
function the way that they wanted it to. But they're gonna have to go back to the drawing board. We're gonna give them a little bit of time to do so. We'll be back in just 5 minutes for game number 4.
We're back. We are back. Welcome back.
Oh, sorry, I didn't
You
even
got caught
realize
off
we were
guard.
back. Yeah, it caught me off guard. I was not prepared for it. My fault. But we are ready for game number 4, and it is series point for Black Lions. We are getting underway here. Draft should be starting up in just a moment, but right now, I think game number 3 was finally the Black Lions looking to see from the start of this series.
Yeah, indeed. And so far, like the previous games, we could see that Seraphia, even in game 1, even in the game they lost, they did a really good job at shutting down Starry in the side lane.
Mm.
But in this kind of draft, they kind of gave her all the tools to just dish out a Garen pick because there was no C, no engage, and no way to deal with the Garen in the side lane. Uh, Including a counter pick in lane to pick that Garen into the Cassandra, which made it just very easy for Starry to play this out. And with this said, we are looking at game 4, and the first thing that is standing out is that finally, because so far we have not seen any side swap, no matter who won the game. But because this happened, and also because a lot of these blind picks that I think Seraphia was looking for as well are out, they are choosing to go red side.
All right, so we're finally gonna. And the problem is we've done it. We've had the teams on the same size for so long that I'm gonna start to mix it up. I
Yeah.
know that I will. Like I just finally I was prepared for it after game number 1, and then I got comfortable. So
Yeah.
I choose to view this as a slight against me specifically, and I will be having a talk with the lawyers of both teams. So, uh, Black Lions gonna be on the blue side, and I think what's interesting too is like as we get for Fearless, first picks become more and more important because there's less power picks
Yeah.
on the board. Depending on obviously on how bans go, because sometimes you want to just leave a pick up so that you can first pick it.
Yeah, indeed. But I think this is also something that's Seraphia kind of like realized. A lot of these power picks we would go for, like for example, now even in game 3, the Mel, they are now out. And yeah, I mean, we can see it here as well with how this is looking. We have, I mean, Zahan, who's generally strong, is out. Sign, that was the first pick. That one is out. Smolder and Mel, these are like those annoying scaling picks. And even stuff like Sivir you could first pick, that's just like a safe pick that lets the enemy reveal a bit more before you can lock in the way you want to go your draft with. They are also out. What's still in though is all these engaged support champs, because both supports just seem to be so much more comfortable on these enchanter supports, but they are slowly but surely chipping away on those, because even Lux got played, which is maybe another support which is like a mage slash. I mean, not
Yeah.
as exactly enchanter, but it has a shield, you know. But even that one is out, so I really wonder, will we see? I mean, I actually didn't even think about which enchanter supports are left, but what will we see on that bot lane?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to as well. Nami is
Yeah,
available.
Nami, true. Oh, this
Nami
is
is
interesting. Lucian Nami. Mimi has a lot of Lucian games in solo queue.
interesting. So there is the possibility of a Lucian Nami. We do have Yunara picked up here, which I do hate. Well, you might have called that one. I
Yeah.
do hate to say that Yunara
Yeah,
does
that
pair
is.
well with a lot of enchanters.
That is
So
true.
it is very possible. Yep, Janna
Oh,
still on
yeah.
the board, and honestly, Janna not a bad pick. Very good
Indeed.
for helping this Yunara stay in the fight.
Yeah, even in lane, it's a very nice answer into a matchup like Lucian Nami, as long as you're playing the Janna well, which I assume, because both these supports very good on enchanters. All you gotta do is whenever Lucian wants to like dash forward and do this chip damage, you gotta have your shield ready, and it's gonna happen every time Lucian is trying to go for like this burst trade, and you can deny a good amount of this burst, and with this help the Yunara get through the laning phase, because even though Lucian still has a lot of agency later on, especially if there's not a lot of tanks, that Yunara is going to be even stronger. Yunara really a scaling monster, actually a B1 I completely forgot about even existing, and it feels like Seraphya honestly did too, because that is one of the honestly strongest champs there is in the game right now competitively.
And it's not even been banned. It's not been like a relevant champion in these drafts in any way, shape, or form. However, as we do go forward, Silas has very clearly been a champion that has been relevant in these drafts, because he's been banned pretty much every single game, as he is going to be banned once again. Right now, we do have the Belveth, though, so again, kind of just not seeing this frontline tank jungle exist. It is about kind of more self-sufficient junglers for both of these junglers, honestly.
I like any lock-in though. I mean, there's a lot of ways to answer this, and honestly, I even like the Nivea hover. That one would have been very cool as well, because I don't think there's a lot of ways Blackline could have dealt with this one. Cassiopeia now a top tier answer to this one, which I would say might even be better. But yeah, I mean, Annie right now can easily just place the Tibbers on the Yunara to one-shot her, but we will have a very strong front line with Ixen Zhao on in even Cassiopeia, which will ground their opponent to make it very scary. So now Seraphia's team has this R5 pick into a tank matchup. We saw the Gwen hover, but it will be a Mordekaiser, which I like. It has a lot of ways to play out. Either you just play on the side lane, or in team fight you take out a target that might be annoying for you to play into to give more space to the rest of the team. So very nice answer here. And I also like the Belveth giving like a lot of scaling, being another cheesy jungle pick too. Although that said, it's gonna be a very, very hard time for the Belveth to play out team fights.
It's going to be a hard time for the Belveth to play team fights. The Mordekaiser, I understand a bit of it. Like, you can take one of these threats just out of a fight, which is pretty big. But at the same time, I don't know how Mordekaiser gets to those threats. Maybe you can just take Ornn out and not let him use the second half of his ult. That's a possibility. But Ornn can also just W and ignore the Mordekaiser ult and waste that. Like, there's a lot of interesting interactions here, but I feel like most of them favor Black Lion.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, overall, I would really say that the Black Lion has like a super strong draft. I mean, there's some cool picks on the side of Seraphia, but Black Lion was always able to answer it, and I feel like the Mordekaiser not strong enough to really deal with the rest of the comp. Not that R5, like, while I still am not like a I still don't dislike Mordekaiser as an R5 pick, especially into Honor, maybe to take out a jump you don't want to play into in team fights. Overall, doesn't feel like enough because the Cassiopeia just does so well in dealing with Lucian, who's like a low range pick, and Belweth that wants to run into you, that you can easily cut back, either grounding and slowing, and also, I mean, you might even be able to realize to perma slow. You can hit your Q to get movement speed for yourself. Like, there's so many ways, and even the Janna, you have the tornado, you have the monsoon, you have everything to just slow down the Belway from running into you. There's so many tools, Jarwood, and so on, and so on, and so on, which makes it really, really hard for them to just play this whole comp out. So, yeah, this is looking very good for Black Lion just from draft.
Yeah, I think it's looking really solid for Black Lion, especially just because like we finally have some front line for Black Lion.
Yeah.
We finally have a tank picked up here and a solid engage tool here as well. So I really do want to see what they're capable of doing. Because I think we've just seen them kind of play a lot of skirmish heavy compositions, and their team fights have been a little rough at points because of that. Now we're starting to get a little bit more of the full on engage.
Yeah, indeed. And that's what I would like to see. Although we're still having these enchanters, but we have some cool matchups here. I really would like to see how, like the spotlight matchup, how they're gonna play it out, because Lucian Army, they're the one with the pressure. But if they don't find the right angle to go in, that quickly can turn to favor Yunara and Janna. So it's always and this you kind of in this matchup though, you kind of gotta put down the pressure with your Lucian Army, because if you don't, then Yunara is just gonna free scale. So this will be very interesting. That should have like a really much more interesting dynamic than, oh yeah, we're playing Amphibious into Lux Seraphine. How's that gonna go? So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that one.
Absolutely, and also just seeing Annie. I feel like every time there's Fearless, like when we get to game 4 and 5, like Annie just for some reason just keeps popping up. In like a lot of different instances, I've just been like, oh yeah, we're gonna pick Annie, and it's like, yeah, that champion exists. It is kind of just overall pretty solid in a lot of what she does. So I just kind of like, she's never been like a prioritized pick, but once all the other champions are gone, yeah, she's there.
Yeah, indeed. I don't know. It will be super fun. It will be super fun to watch. I think we have a lot more proactivity, which is kind of something that it was a bit like lacking from the other games, where I felt like, okay, they have some tools, like for example when we have like Jarvan and Kaiser, but then you pick the karma with it. So now we have like on one side we have like and well, Xin Zhao, who's just gonna look maybe to fight a bit more. But on Seraphya's side, especially with the Annie Lucian army, you want to get like a quick pick, you want to get a good ult, you want to focus down like the Yunara or the Cassiopeia and need to get in range. Yeah, I'm looking forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, just Belveth existing, just I always bring this up because I think a lot of people mischaracterize Belveth as a late game scaling type of jungler when she is actually just very strong levels 1 through 3. Because I think part of why people don't think about that is she technically her Q is 4 separate casts. That is a lot of extra damage in the early game. So she can be very, very good to skirmish in the early portions of the game.
Indeed, indeed. Oh, we're loading into the game and we see an invade. That's gonna be an invade. We have Annie. We have Annie who can look for maybe even the flash W. But if you walk like this, okay, you normally you want to hug the wall when you invade like this, so you don't see them in time to walk away. And if you do that, I think there was potential for the Annie to find a stun and then force out a flash. But in this case, that actually gives the opportunity for Black Lion, who's now on the blue side, very important, to get control over the top side kind of for free, and even Knochentuppe and Sacrifice were able to get back control over the Tribush. So that actually went all in Blackline's favor.
Who is it that will protect you from my ire?
Hitting that dance. It is going to be start on the Raptors, which is fairly common for Belveth as well. So, going to be on the red buff. I've seen both. I know someone who plays a lot of Belveth, so I have just seen a lot of Belveth gameplay. But we are going to get them on opposite sides of the map once again, so these early ganks are not going to be countered by each other.
Yeah, indeed. Well, Belveth though, anyway, gonna see to power farm. That's the first interaction on the spot lane. We actually have like the electrocute Lucian, which means like full on. Yep, we just need to lane gap you.
That is crazy.
Yeah, it is something you see sometimes, especially. I mean, I would say it's more of a solo queue thing, but I feel like in this draft they also looked at it and were like, "Yep, we need to play a very, very aggressive bot lane. We need to have full on control and through this take dragons and everything, you know. And that way we are gonna win this game, and else we're just cooked. That's how it is. So, yeah, that's what they're looking for.
Early on, you can obviously see how much that electrocute is doing. And it's very funny too, because it used to be the Nami taking the electrocute to just like proc, when she could still proc it with her E. But that got changed now. Seeing early game how much pressure Starry can put out, and it's forcing a Mordekaiser back at level 3.
Yep, that's not how the lane was supposed to go. But at least the Lucian and Nami on bot lane, they keep up the pressure. They also have the healing from the Nami to make sure that every time Lucian trades and gets straight back, you can heal it back up. So you're very, very fine. And they're slowly but surely crashing the wave. Oh, cannon missed. That's something you celebrate in that lane. And that's really like the Knochentuppe is like, yep, nice. They missed cannon. Let's go. That's a win.
Yeah, they were scared. Like that was the pressure I put up. My walk forward did freak them out enough, and they got the cannon in response. So really, it's actually working out really well, except for the fact that ignite is likely going to tick down and give first blood over, because that was the ignite from Mimi. They really, wow! I did not realize just how much they were like, we have to win this lane.
Yeah, but hey, they got the cannon, right? So who won? Ignoring maths, of course. That's just
Yeah. Ignoring the numbers, who had the better numbers?
yeah.
Like really, when you think about it.
Ignoring everything else, like
Yeah.
Who won?
Ignoring the thing that we're talking about.
Exactly. Ignoring the facts. Who won? That's basically
yeah.
within a nutshell right now.
Ooh, they're going for a dive on the top side, and we're gonna see Kazera actually get 1 for 1, and that is a big misplay there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not able to get that W onto Kazera, and that's a lot of damage missed.
Indeed. And Zara still has the teleport as well, while Steri just invested it and now lost a lot of HP as well. So 1-for-1 trade, okay. Lakamita got that extra assist, but hold up, mid lane.
A little bit of action. Cassiopeia getting under the tower, flashing away, and is going to survive. That is a clean 1v1.
Massive. Wow. Okay. Cassiopeia already dealing a lot of, I mean, obviously a lot of damage with that QE just running down the Annie, and that's gonna be what we can be ready for later on. Item build wise, we gonna look for the Rod of Ages, and I'm actually not sure right now because I think there's like a, I mean, obviously you can like go Rod of Ages into tier, but there's also sometimes here and then if you want to be a bit more supportive, which honestly in this case you don't need to be there you go Rylas right away as second item. But that's it. I'm pretty sure that in this kind of comp where Cassiopeia and Yunara are your main damage threat, she's just gonna go Rod of Ages into Archangels and then later on Rylas to apply Permaslow. And now we're looking at the dragon. And that one is huge, because that one is gonna go over to Black Lion. That's not what you wanted with the Lucian Nami lane.
Yeah, and that's a lot because of that mid lane. It's because of Eevee getting that solo kill, and they just have the wave pressure to just walk up. Somehow they got that wave pushed out as well, enough for the bot lane to walk up. So huge stuff for Black Lions.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, they were coming in as the favorites, and Seraphia so far putting up a huge fight, but now they might get pushed to their limits. Let's see. We also see lane swap grubs are gonna spawn soonish, but that lane swap will allow them to hit a very good timing to get that wave push. But at the same time, Yunara and Jenna are now recalling as well on bot side to answer that swap with a good timing as well.
Yeah, it is now gonna look a little bit tough here because we're gonna see this bot lane swap up here just to put more pressure on this top lane tower, and it is matched on the other side here, and you can see immediately Seraphia are like, we want to get into your jungle, we want to get pressure and wards and vision and know exactly where your jungler is, as we did have a slight pause. So we had our post pause, as I like to call it. So we'll get right back into the game then.
Yes, indeed. And now it's all gonna be on the grub spawning fairly soon. Mid lane fights. Hold up.
Fight breaking out, and that's a lot of damage put onto the Cassiopeia.
Yeah.
She will back away though, and we do have Xin right by to make sure, hey, I want my mid laner to clear that wave.
Yeah. But that Bel'Veth really needs to get level 6. So that should be done with this Raptors camp. Making sure to use the smite to get it as quick as possible. And oh, wait, bot lane actually got a kill on that Mordekaiser. That's definitely not how that matchup is supposed to go.
That is the Starry effect. She will find solo kills with
Yeah.
tanks that you just don't think would be ever possible. As we see Bel'Veth still trying to find a way into this, but does not have the backup. And there is no Tibbers on that Annie, so the stun just has to hit on one person. Flashes over the wall. Sin's out thinking about going over, but cannot find the angle. Now the culling's going across multiple people. Lots of burst damage. Bel'Veth still can't get a kill, and that means no reset, and that means no strong Bel'Veth for this fight. Nami is healing up this Bel'Veth, and they're still trying to go for the grubs here.
Yep, they're still going, and Bel'Veth's still in the back, hoping that they just get this one kill for her to be able to pick up. No. First grub taken. That was a smite used. If you take the next grub very fast, that might be it for that Bel'Veth. And that it is.
They do get it. Huge. Bel'Veth able to get that first transform. And now, you probably don't want to mess with this Bel'Veth. TP being used by the Cassiopeia goes in, and that is going to be stolen away, but at what cost? Because in comes the Annie. That'll be a kill in favor of Seraphia. They do get 2 grubs, they do get 1 grub for their Bel'Veth.
Yeah, it was in the end just one. We have another pause. Seems like there's some connection issues happening. Anyway, because that's a very quick time to talk about how it's looking. So yeah, Seraphia. I mean, they only get 1 grab, and that got them the Bareth ultimate. But honestly, not helpful enough. Xinjiao here just jumping in to make sure they get that second grab, and that means we are 1 objective away for the side of Black Lion to also get the Feat of Strength, which is very nice. And overall, I would say as long as you take 2 grabs and have 1 player dying, can actually be not too bad for your side, especially when it is the jungler, because the rest can just take care of the lanes, and you are still very happy.
Yeah, this is looking a little tough here for Seraphia, but they've been able to find options. They've been able to find angles. They got a little bit off of the grubs there. Even though, yeah, the Belveth maybe didn't get all the grubs. We're able to get a little bit of something there. I honestly don't know where this game is going to go from here because I've not seen a lot of these champions in competitive, so it does kind of just beg the question of like when are these champs really going to spike?
Yeah.
But also just it has been back here, like back and forth constantly in this series.
Yeah, indeed. I was back and forth, but I think even not like there always seem to be Black Lion having like the slight edge, and then one game there was one on the side of Seraphia, even though the team overall playing a very very good game as well. That was all on the back of that smaller pick. And considering how this whole draft has been going, and now even that Mordekaiser R5 pick is falling behind, it is looking very very good for Black Lion. Yet again, though, these games have been very explosive, and in all the games, they're really like positions where maybe there was like either a comeback angle or the game was completely flipped on its head. So we can still maybe see that happening. We still have a comp with like an any and illusion army, and even though they generally should like have a hard time to really get onto their targets, to be fair, there could be this a really like bad mistake happening that Seraphia is punishing well on this sort of Black Line to then quickly burst someone down with this Electrocute Ignite Lucian with the any burst and burst. So that's of course still in the cards for them.
Absolutely. And also just as a reminder too, Seraphia have to win this game if this series
Yeah.
is going to continue. So Black Lions are really going to have the pressure to put onto Seraphia. And I think just kind of looking at the compositions, these anti-ults become really, really crucial for these team fights.
Yeah, indeed. And we are back.
We are going to get back into the game. As the pressure, obviously, from this Lucian has been felt. You can see it in the CS differential.
Yeah.
Wow, a first item, shield reaving item. That is...
Yeah.
You don't see that very often, but I also think it is a very good call.
Oh, I mean, generally it's a good call, but only into a Jenna with the E.
Janna,
it's kind
it's
of like
also going to help with the Cassiopeia later.
yeah, but and there's not that many shared sources though. But that said, I think a lot of your trade potential in your bot lane revolves around like timing it right so that Jenna doesn't get a big shield off, and with this, obviously that makes it a bit harder. So that can still help them. That Lucian very strong, 20 CS ahead and 2-0, and that is just gonna keep up the pressure because right now the gold is still even. But the first Drake went over to Black Lion's side. The second Drake, they are trying to get into their hands on the side of Seraphia right now as they start this one up, or are about to start this one up. First of all, clearing all the control. But that also gives a lot of time, to be honest, to the side of Black Lion to get into the correct position. And on, even TP. Might be the Knight. Oh, that is massive.
That is huge there. It is going to be a death there as you're going to see the Star get that kill as now the Dragon is still continuing to fight. Big Nami wave across a bunch, but there's just not enough damage to follow through. The HP bars are still very, very full for Black Lions, and that is a kill. That is a Dragon. Black Lions are all over it right now, and Seraphina will be running for their lives. The Annie not going to get away, and it is everything going wrong there, I think, for Seraphia.
Yeah, I mean, canceling that on TP can be very much worth it in this case. Let's hold up. We might even see a kill here on that on.
Now seeing another little bit of damage and great use of the W to avoid the CC. But again, this is a 3-0 Ornn.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, this is rough for that Mordekaiser. Anyway, going back to the Drake. I mean, if you win that fight, like taking on the on is huge because this is like your main engaged source. But it didn't matter in the end because there's just so many tools to create space, to ground your enemy, to make sure you can free hit with all the DPS that Casio and this Yunara have as well. And that was used very well. Xin ult, for example, the Crescent Guard, making sure the Xin can still go in, create space, throw everyone around, and not die because as soon as you walk out, if you're not in its range, yeah, well, you can't kill that Xinjiao for quite a while. And that alone, and then on top, the ground effect from Cassiopeia, the DPS that Yunara bursts out, Jenna making sure to even keep you alive too, all these kind of things. There's so many ways where they can just easily play a fight out. So Seraphya, looking at how that fight played out, even with Ornn not being in, you really just rely on a burst pick.
Yeah, it is looking a little rough here because that Mordekaiser needed to be useful, I think, for this composition to really work.
Yeah.
And now we're going to see them try to go in on this Xin Zhao.
Oh.
Xin Zhao is winning this fight easily, and that is a flash burned by Mamui. So this Bel'Veth's still struggling to just exist in this game.
Indeed. Feats already went over to... Oh, maybe a kill here on that Ornn.
Yeah, gonna use that Mordekaiser ult. Big shutdown to get on to the Mordekaiser. Desperately needed to stay relevant in this game.
Yeah, Starry is sometimes... She's having fun in this tournament, to be honest. Like, sometimes she's pushing it a bit too far. And this was one of these scenarios. She has a massive lead, and she's still in the lead here for sure. But it just gives some breathing room to the side of Seraphia and keeps the game maybe a bit more exciting because everything else has been completely falling apart. I mean, even the top lane has been falling apart up to this point. But now Mordekaiser are getting a bit back into this one. But yeah, dearly needed. That said, there has been a bot lane turret falling, Feat of Strength, even before that first blood turret came through, was already given over to the side of Black Lion. That will also very much help them, you know, because they can buy these boot upgrades, well, Casio can't, but the rest of them, to... Especially Xinjiao. Xinjiao will be very happy about that one. If he could get like a shield, it doesn't matter if it's gonna go. He's probably gonna go Mercs, to be honest. If he gets the magic damage shield, just giving a lot more survivability before then. After he gets the seed, like he can then create a lot of space as well.
Herald already taken here, and Black Lion's going to go for the fight. They're going to go right onto Mamui, who goes down. The Annie is next on the agenda. They lose one in the process, but do they really care that much? Because their damage threats are still firing, and that's another kill. It is all Black Lions this game.
They were starting up the objective, and you could really see how they were not giving any chance to Seraphia to even like get in. It's just there's so many tools. You can see it here. Like Herald already about to be finished, and Cassiopeia putting down the W, and this Bel'Veth just suffers. Everyone suffers. No one can put out the damage needed. And now that Yunara, after everything else is used, can, well, lay the land. So with that said, should be another top lane turret going down as well in favor of Black Lion. They got the Herald, they got everything.
Yeah, it does, like, you look at the kills and the gold, and it's a 3,000 gold lead, which is not nothing, but it feels, this game feels more substantially behind than that.
Yeah. Indeed. I think overall, also looking at the drafts, looking at how last game went, even though Seraphia had some moments where it was looking like, okay, they could still have a chance in this game. Whoa!
Oh, that is actually a big one there, as they're able to get one kill onto the Janna, but that is still not the major threat of this team composition. As now Bel'Veth actually getting behind the Cassiopeia, able to avoid the grounded and still trying to chase down this Cassiopeia. Eevee is in trouble. Eevee will go down, but I think Belveth is going to fall first. And now they're not actually going to get the kill onto the Cassiopeia.
what?
Eevee is still alive. What is going on? How does she survive? And now Ord is here, Starry, to try and do something. The Nami waves is going to stop the ult from reactivating, but look at Eevee down below, already back up to a quarter HP, is looking to maybe try and get back into this fight.
Yeah, indeed. And now the Janna is coming back in, and they use so many tools to just get this one pick to start up the dragon, and then they couldn't even take down Eevee, trying to chase her down, and the control goes back to Black Lion. And okay, Starry, you should get caught, but even if she does, Black Lion will go on to that soul point, and Starry even can just walk it off and get out of this.
And that is 3 dragons at 18.5 minutes for Black Lions.
Oh,
Alchemeda might be in trouble.
yeah.
Rather, will be in trouble. Is in trouble. The trouble has now passed. Alchemeda is dead. A little bit of something for Seraphia, but it's not feeling like a whole lot.
Yeah. It's not a pick on someone who would give you a shutdown. It's just a dead jungler while every neutral objective is down, while the waves are not in a position where you could maybe take a turrets. Yeah, this kill feels almost worthless. Maybe this one goes into the never mind. Okay.
Nope, not able to turn it around.
Yeah.
And again, just MVP to Eevee for just not only not dying, but like getting kills in the process of not dying.
Yeah.
In like absolutely absurd situations.
But this also shows the strength when you know, okay, your enemy like clicks some either low range picks because like a lot of ADCs are out or they're not playing an engage support. Hold up. Sorry, all alone.
Yeah, sorry, in a little bit of trouble, but also 3-1 right now, so it takes forever to go down to 4 people. That is 4 people.
Yeah.
That is all of the damage threats, by the way. And Starry was still able to stay alive for what, like 8 seconds of just straight taking damage? I don't think you win this fight, Kazara.
No way, right?
Surely not.
Yeah,
and
no.
yeah, Kazara realizes that's a bad idea. I don't think I want to do that. And that shield will keep me from dying, but I do have to back again.
Yeah. Actually, it seemed like the Mordekaiser was trapped with the Cassiopeia, not the other way around. And yeah, that on is huge, almost unkillable, especially also because of the comp being more of a burst comp. Cassiopeia is huge because they don't really have tools to get onto her, which also kind of is a big weakness. And like having this many enchanters supported, Eevee, I think like at this point realized, hey, instant Cassiopeia angle. And you can just also see the depth of Black Lion's pool to pull out the correct pick in this draft of Game 4.
Mm-hmm. Nami wave utilized, and we Janna going. A couple of people, Yunara also fairly low, but the damage is not enough for kills, and kills are what matter in this fight. Janna able to heal up the members, and that means Seraphia has to back away.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Started chasing down with on the assassin champ. Chasing down Mimi, getting that kill. First death for Mimi now as well. She's smelling even more blood.
She's smelling more blood, but also not able to find it here.
Yeah.
Arnold does go a little bit wide. Yunara almost able to get a kill. Oh my goodness. Nakatopa almost able to get a couple more kills, but could not confirm them. Meanwhile, top lane tower going to take a lot of damage from this Cassiopeia.
Indeed. I think this is also just showing how strong the Black Lion team is. I was already talking about. Never mind. We're gonna keep having action.
Yeah, and it's the Xin here to try and help save the day, but Annie has teleported in behind, and Cassiopeia lots of damage onto Evie, who is still alive. Finally goes down, shut down, going over to Mimi, who wants to try and get this last kill on to the Xin. It will go over to Serena. And that is a big, big
Yeah.
win here because Black Lions have been just running this show.
Indeed, indeed. Massive win for them. They need some gold in their pockets. They need some item spikes to hit. And Mimi's looking for more, was running at that Janna already, but got knocked out by the tornado. But yeah, depth of champion pool, depth of draft, that is something, another strength that we didn't see from Black Lions so far, because so far they have been stomping this tournament, but now they are in a game 4, and they're still answering with strong picks, but they might get caught.
Ult, Annie ult as well. It's just completely bursted down, and without the Cassiopeia damage, it does feel like this team does falter a little bit.
I mean, it's usually the Xin Zhao and the Cassiopeia who create all the space to allow the carries to be protected. And in this case, that was just impossible.
You do finally get a dragon here, and that does stop the soul from going over to Black Lions.
And I mean, they're still, well, this comp is still not the best for the side of Seraphya at this point of the game. But we getting this kind of hope. We also got in the previous games where they sometimes, you know, found like really key picks where it looked like, okay, as long as Black Lion plays this off perfectly, this should be completely fine for their side and they should close it out. But right now, Seraphya still finding angles. First, Eevee over pushing, and also finding the Zhao in the process, getting 2 kills. Then afterwards, we see Janna and Yunara in mid lane overstepping and getting flashed T-burst to death. And with this, right now, that means they are denying the soul for Black Lion and staying alive a bit longer. And if they stay alive long enough, if they keep finding these picks, and maybe a Baron, I mean, the next fight, if they win one more fight, that could mean the Baron goes over to them. There's still a small chance.
Baron now spawning. The teams are hovering around it. Now we see Mordekaiser E used, Culling used as well, and it's honestly not doing any damage. And I don't think there's a way to win this fight. It is still a very strong Black Lion squad, and they are going to destroy any hope of a comeback here as Yunara is still firing freely from behind. Cassiopeia walking down the last one, and that is a clean, no, not a clean ace. Janna did die, but a fairly clean ace at the end of the day.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, we're giving them some hope, but in the end, they are just gonna get cleaned up. The Black Line is like, let's pull it together. Let's win this game. We have so much of a stronger comp. All we need is a good fight, and they can't even move. And that's exactly what happened, and they're looking to close out the series 3-1.
The 2 towers gone, the Nexus tower is falling, and that might be the end of the series. They're focusing the Nexus down. They're gonna take another kill while they're at it, and that will be Black Lions able to become your champions for the Café Cuties Cup.
Yes, congratulations to Black Lions. Seraphya was able to take 1 victory in this best of 5, but that's about it. Just scratching the perfect record here. But yeah, Black Lion here, really, really well played. And they literally had a Game Changers winner, and now also a Café Cuties winner. Still debatable what's the more important title. I would personally say Café Cuties Cup winner, but obviously
I think
that's for
currently
everyone else
it's
to say.
Café Cuties Cup winner.
Yeah,
I'd say
yeah,
in the moment right now, it's definitely Café Cuties Cup
indeed,
winner.
indeed. But yeah, Black Lion, I think overall very, very strong roster. You could see how deep the pool goes in this best of 5. Almost clean record throughout the tournament. Really dominant group phase. But then looking on the other side, you still gotta give respect to Seraphia, because their comeback run looked almost impossible. They were almost knocked out. They were only 1-3 in groups. Then won the decider match against Team Jinx, climbed back, beat beat Disability Pride Gaming in a very close best of 3 2-1, then 2-0 the first place of Group A in High Definitely Not Filled, and got into that final. And honestly, especially in the first 2 games, and one of them was even a win for them, they put up a huge fight against Black Lion. And I don't think, looking at the table at the beginning, like last weekend, anyone would have expected that.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I think it was amazing run and a really, really just good showing today as well. Like these games were not outside of that last game. Most of these games were really close, and it was very possible for Seraphia to get more than one win in any of these games. I am very, very happy to see Seraphia kind of just have that moment of life there throughout this tournament, and I do hope we get to see more from them.
Yeah, indeed. And it's always fun to see also the teams that get cooked up in the drafting process of the Café Cuties Cup. So every time it is something new and something exciting to look for. And yeah, this has been the third edition. And I'm looking forward to many more. Obviously not in 2025 anymore, but this has been a really exciting concept running since the end of last year. And I'm sure we will see more of these tournaments as well. So make sure, if you don't want to miss out on those, to hit, well, if you want to just watch, if you just want to lay back and watch, follow the Twitch channel. But if you also want to know when the tournaments happen, if you want to participate, or even just when you actually want to know the schedule, make sure to also check the socials below on this Twitch channel as well. There are multiple socials you can follow, even to just check out highlights or even join the community over in the Discord too.
Yeah. So again, congratulations to Black Lions, and honestly Seraphia as well for making it as far as they
Yeah.
did. Congratulations on the funds that they have been able to win from the tournament. And I believe we are going to raid somebody who's going to commentate the third and fourth place matchup here in a bit. So or no, it might actually, I might be wrong. So um we're trying to figure that out currently. But regardless, stick around guys. We are going to send you somewhere, and
Yeah.
I hope you all have a wonderful